Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. So I got late with sending out the links. So Will is here with me. Expect we'll have a couple more people popping in. And since it is Answer Your Cat's Questions Day, I also have my furry pal Sammy Son here.
Awesome. Awesome. I have a few questions. What kind of cat do you have? And how old is your cat?
He's a tuxedo kitty. I don't know exactly because he did come from a shelter, but at the time they told me he was about 6, so he should be going on 9 now.
Awesome. Awesome. Is it really Ask a Cat a Question Day or Cat Asking Question Day?
Yeah, it's one of the obscure holidays I found on the internet.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, it makes me laugh how much we still praise cats. How much, like, I love cat memes. There are dumb cat memes that just that have me on the ground laughing,
Yep, I see in the side chat we've got Sloth Girl and Doc Fearsome so far.
Awesome.
Yeah, one of my favorite cat quotes is, 5,000 years ago in Egypt, cats were worshipped as gods. They haven't forgotten. They're wondering why we did.
Yeah, exactly. They still get treated well,
Oh yeah.
It's understood that a dog would save your life. A cat is your roommate.
Yep.
You share a space with a cat,
Yeah. Well, and I do feel you can tell a lot about people by how they treat the animals.
Very much so.
And if I was going to be dating someone and they didn't have any pets, that makes me a little bit suspicious.
Well, I had a dog that passed, and it was so painful. I haven't purchased. Well, not purchased. I haven't got another dog.
Oh yeah, I understand. There are situations in that.
Where
and Mike Black Sofa's here.
Awesome. It's one of those things where your pet becomes a person in your family. And when my dog passed, it was harsh. It was harsh. I wasn't ready for it. I still haven't dealt with it.
Yeah. Yeah, Sloth Girl says, yeah, dogs have owners, cats have staff.
That's so true. That is so true.
Yep.
A dog would wake you up if your house was on fire. A cat would be looking for the exit.
Well, see, the reason cats haven't taken over is they're smart enough to realize that means they'd have to clean their own litter box.
I like that one. I'm going to steal that one. Why would you want to take over when somebody does everything for you? Oh, and it's just me. So now that it's the Godless Sewing Show, I'm sure Purple will be here in a second. How's everyone doing in the chat? There you are.
Yeah, my computer is being flaky and randomly decides the microphone isn't plugged in, and that knocks me out of the chat.
I asked the chat.
I had just rebooted a couple of hours ago, so I thought it would be good for tonight, but...
Is it your computer, or are you having Wi-Fi problems?
No, it's the computer.
That's
why I was building the new computer, and I've been streaming on the laptop, but I thought I could get away with doing it with the old computer now. That may not have been a good decision.
I know.
I probably should have stuck to the laptop.
I know exactly what you're saying.
But the laptop's like 12 years old, so it's still running Windows 8 and can't handle too much.
You know, it's really funny. I have an 11, isn't 11, gosh, it's that old. It's like an 11-year-old iMac, and Apple goes out of its way to make sure that you can't run anything on it. So I think that's awesome that you can still run something on your laptop like that.
Yeah, well, you know, if I baby it, I don't overload it, don't have too many things open at the same time.
I've had to learn that the hard way on some of my old computers, because I instantly will put in my my Google ID and it will overload an old computer because it's running so much, and it's looking for certain things and trying to connect to your computer, and it'll overload an older computer. I found that out though.
Well, that's I found with the laptop that I can have about 5 tabs open. If I get much beyond that, then everything is so slow to load.
Do you have certain times of day where your computer's speed is faster or slower?
I haven't really noticed any difference, but like streaming like this is about the most intense thing I do. So I don't like do the gaming or that where the speed would really be that noticeable.
I have multiple devices, and it depends on the time of day. But I think it's also because the kids are home right now.
Yeah.
Sloth girl, that is so true. It's so sad, but true. Cats will turn on you real quick.
Well, hey, what happens to the physical shell after I leave it? I don't really care. So
I think about that.
I enjoy it.
I agree with you. I think about that all the time. After I've passed, chuck me in the ocean, put me under a tree for all I care.
Hey, Stool. Okay, we got a bunch of interesting people in the side chat. Why doesn't somebody else come in here? Oh, I'm wondering where Jenny Morgan is, because she specifically asked for the link.
Yeah, I saw that. I swore she was gonna beat me here, because I only have like an hour and a half in me, because I'm exhausted.
Yeah, well, you ran Jen's show earlier.
And I
know you were in charge of running the board for that.
And I had to just semi keep an eye on the chat, which, it's hard, giving my full attention to the chat and also giving my full attention to a stream. I have to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
I'm on my phone and I'm looking down and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm live. So I'm like trying to look up and pay attention and listen at the same time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That sometimes when the conversation really gets going, I have trouble watching the side chat.
Because I almost have to pick one or the other, or I won't pay attention to either one. That's the most, for as ADD as I am, that's the most useless thing about me. I have to pick one thing. Like even today, I just decided, you know what? After I kicked out that one person, I was like, all right.
Well, if the side chat is really moving, with my dyslexia, I have a lot of trouble reading it when it's scrolling. If the words start moving on me, it's really hard for me to read it. So it takes like 4 times as long just to read the chat, and then I can't do anything else.
You completely reminded me of something that made me laugh when you put in the chat that you could print out degrees for all the atheists. I wanted to bring that up, but everybody was talking so much. I held the chat because I wanted to talk about that, about what you put. It made me laugh so hard when you said that.
Oh yeah, that's my new idea. I was thinking I'm going to start a diploma mill. But St. Cloud State is a pretty reputable school, so I figure not many people will notice if the diploma says St. Cloud Street instead.
Absolutely, it'll take people years to figure it out.
Yeah, send me $1,000 for a year, and I'll send you a diploma.
I thought that was hilarious when you put that in the chat. I love that.
And it would be every bit as valid as Kent Hovind's.
I knew someone as a joke got a doctorate from a diploma mill, and no one noticed for years. And they had it on the wall. They never called themselves doctor. They didn't say a word, but no one ever noticed.
If you frame it on the wall, people just acknowledge the object. They probably never read the text.
Exactly. Human beings are funny that way. It's kind of like if you walk up to a door that says push or pull, stand 10 feet back and watch the show just happen. It's a true test on human beings.
Yeah, I've done that enough times myself.
Me too. I used to smoke nicotine profusely, so I was always standing outside of buildings. Oh, always nervously smoking before I went in somewhere. Still to this day, I try to pay attention to that because people are funny that way.
Yeah, an odd thing I haven't quite got. For some reason, if I'm watching Julie stream, when she lights up a cigarette, I smell it.
I know what you're saying.
But it doesn't happen with anyone else. It's just her. So I think it might be that she's surrounded by books. So then that reminds me of when I was with my fiance.
I know what you're saying. Memory is funny that way. Memory is so, because I have a semi-identical memory, but something will trigger a memory, and then I'll start thinking about it.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Oh dear.
Oh, there. I like this one. Oregano State University.
I think I should open up a diploma mill. Godless University.
I've been saying all along that I should have started a Woo channel. Because I could be selling bottles of colored water for $100 a shot. And,
absolutely.
Just kind of imply they help with things.
Hey, you and I live in America. People will buy anything. Yep. They'll believe anything. Strike while the iron's hot, because people are extra dumb right now.
What was it George Carlin said? If you nail two things together that nobody's nailed together before, some schmuck will buy it from you.
Damn right. Damn right. How you doing there, HJ?
I'm doing very well, thank you, but I'm not going to let you see my beauty today.
Okay.
I'm having a lighting issue, and also my camera's fucking annoying me.
That bad, huh?
No, it's too good, and I just can't be arsed with it. It shows off way too much.
Did you get it in 5K or something?
No. It's only full def, but it just shows off way too much, and I have to crop it. I have to run it through through OBS to crop it, and I have to use XSplit thingy to remove my background, and I can't be arsed. It's 6:20 in the morning. I can't be arsed with that.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No, that's definitely too early in the morning to be dealing with things.
And that was exhausting just hearing that.
Oh yeah, Black Sofa has a degree in theology.
Why is he awake? Mike, why are you awake, you weirdo?
That's what I was wondering, what he was doing in here at this hour. He said he's making breakfast.
Oh. I wonder if he's having anything sexy.
How many preachers and priests do you think are atheists?
90%.
So it's just a giant grift, and they all figure it out at some time.
Of course.
Yeah, I actually wonder how many of them get into it because they believe it, but then when they get up to the higher levels, they realize, that it's all a con. But at that point, it's like their whole life is invested in it, so they have to go with it. Otherwise, they're out of a job and they don't have a home or anything.
I agree with you. The Catholic Church is the greatest pyramid scheme of all time. And that's just from my observation. At the church I grew up at, when my dad passed, I went with my mom into the office, and they have this cast. And it's this gorgeous cast. It's an amazing piece of artwork. And I remember asking the woman who runs the church, I said, is this a replica? And she says, yeah, there's only 3. And I said, what? And she said, there's only 3 on Earth. And in my town, it's in LA. It's still a podunk town, even for LA. It's amazing how an artwork, something of that valuable, is just sitting in some podunk church somewhere in the middle of the desert. The Catholic Church it's outrageous. I know you can't. I know you can't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, the Catholic Church also has just a lot of weird artifacts. Like, they literally have body parts of saints.
I would love to go through their vaults just to see all the crud they have in there and all the stuff that they've been suppressing since the old days.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Catholic churches in the U.S. will even have like a bone or a finger from a saint.
I saw a documentary on one that became big business, so I don't want to misquote, but that was big business back in the day.
Yeah. With claims like that, it's like, how do they verify that's really the person it came from? Or,
I said that the other day when I was a little kid. My church, we went to Israel and Rome, and I remember asking, how do we know that this is Bethlehem? How do we know that, that any of this is true? And it's not. All of it is made up to sell to dumb American tourists, because we're like 90% of the people who go to Israel and pay lots of money to go there.
And if you put together all the fragments of wood that were sold to tourists in Israel claiming to be parts of the original cross, you'd have enough to build the ark.
You could build a bridge from here to Israel. So true. So true. And if you go into the city, it's a normal city with people like smoking cigarettes, spitting on the ground. There's hookers. It's a real place, It always struck me as that was weird.
So, Stool, what you doing over there?
Sorry, I couldn't tell if I was muted. Still just came in to put a stool in the middle of your stream.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going for editing the description there, so. Oh, and Heat Shield, hello.
How's it going? Stool, are you?
Says I've got two fists of Jose Cuervo margaritas, 12-pack Michelob Amberbach, and 6 bottles of Heineken. Yeah. Okay, I'll take the margaritas. I'll skip all the beer.
When I was a kid, a friend of mine, we stole a bottle of my dad's tequila. I was probably 14 or 15, and we got alcohol poisoning. And needless to say, I think I've had tequila once or twice in my life since.
I love strawberry margaritas. That's one of my favorites.
Just how you were saying about how like when Julie lights up a cigarette, you could smell it. When I smell tequila, I remember the time I almost died from it.
Yeah.
And so even if it's like well masked, it makes me physically ill. It's psychosomatic. It's something that since I was a kid, because I got so sick off of it, my brain's like, nope, we do not want this in the body. But alcohol,
I definitely get that. That if you had a really bad experience with it, the odor,
it taught me respect in a way where I stay away from it. It's one of those things where it bit me hard enough where I learned my lesson. But I'm glad I learned that lesson at a young age to moderate, because even as an adult, I needed help with that. And I know there's somebody in the chat that's probably going to be like, oh, what's moderation?
Moderation is fine as long as you don't overdo it.
Oh, tequila taught me a lesson as a kid. And there's other alcohol too. Like I did the pirate thing and drank too much rum as a kid. I figured it out early. There are certain things that will make you regret it the next day.
Yeah, for many years I couldn't figure out why I always got a hangover from rum, but not from anything else. And it turned out that I'm allergic to sugarcane.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And it's very specific because I can have things with beet sugar. I can't have anything with cane sugar or I'll get the migraines.
Wow. That's a terrible way to find out you're allergic to something.
Well, I just always thought it was a hangover, but it was just weird that it was only happening with tequila.
That's one of the reasons I stopped drinking, was because I felt dead the next day and semi non-functional.
Yeah, with most things, it doesn't bother me, or I have to have an awful lot. Like with the whiskey, unless I have like the equivalent of like 10 shots within a couple hours, it's not gonna have any effects after I've had a few hours to sleep it off.
That was always my problem. I didn't know when to say when. It's one of those things, though. Like I said, alcohol will teach you respect. So if you don't respect it, it will teach you respect. So after a while, I learned how to moderate, or just end up like looking like a complete ass in public.
Sorry, I'm getting my words tangled up. Yeah, it's rum I have the problem with, not tequila. Like I said, margaritas I can have. That's fine. Hey, Spooky.
How's it going, Spooky?
Why don't you come in here and tell your story? Yeah, for the most part, I've got a pretty good tolerance for the whiskey, and I do have to watch it because the alcoholism does run pretty strong in my family.
That's what one of the reasons I stopped drinking, because I didn't even like alcohol and I couldn't put it down. It wasn't even my drug of choice. And one day I told myself, like, I'm just doing this because I'm bored. Because I wouldn't just drink one. I would have to have like 6 or 7 beers and a couple shots.
Yep.
And
well, I thank everybody who helped me with the move to get me out of that little town in Michigan, because it was getting progressively worse there. And I think if I had still been stuck there through the pandemic, yeah, I probably would have just been drinking myself into oblivion quite often now.
And you know what? You said something that's it's so true, because when I was first going through my divorce with my ex-wife is when I was getting hammered every night. And then when my life improved, all of a sudden I stopped drinking so much. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Hey, Shield, what's your handle on Twitter, and I can send you a link. I thought I was following you on Twitter already.
Oh, it's been a long day. I'm going to be happy when I pass out tonight. There was
girls doing theme music for people now.
There was so much anticipation and drama that when the stream happened, it was just people having a conversation. And so now I'm on that emotional hangover of everything that happened,
Yeah.
Because in the end, it was just, people that came together to have a conversation, just as we do here.
Yeah, Renee, that's actually what helped me figure out the cane sugar. was back before they were doing corn syrup and everything. The like Coca-Cola provides the syrup, but the local bottlers provided the water and sugar. And at the time, I realized that I was getting headaches from Coke, but I was okay with Pepsi. And it turned out that the Coke was being made with cane sugar and the Pepsi was being made with beet sugar.
Oh, that's funny. Do they still make them that way?
Now it's mostly corn syrup in any of them. But I did have a really bad habit with the Pepsi that when I went to live with my fiance, I was drinking more than a quart a day of Pepsi. So she got me off of that, and now it's like any cola just tastes strange. I just can't take the taste of it anymore.
It's funny you would say that. I have a bad Pepsi habit. A bad Pepsi habit. To the point where it's embarrassing the amount of Pepsis that I drink every single day. But I feel less guilty because I drink bottles of water in between it, but it doesn't excuse how many Pepsis I drink.
Yeah, well, that's, I always had a cup in my car, so I just kept getting the quart refills while I was working in that. So, I mean, sometimes it was like 3 quarts a day.
I even started buying these sports drinks to slow down my Pepsi consumption. Because they're not as harsh as,
Yeah, now mostly I'm drinking iced tea. That I hot brew the tea.
Oh, really? So do you make your own?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Actually, a couple of years ago, Sloth Girl got me one of the iced tea makers, which is basically like a drip coffee maker, but it's got a 3-quart pitcher. So I do my own mix of it's black tea, peppermint, and chamomile.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but since I've gone a couple of rounds with Bad Tempered Badger about drinking iced tea, now every time I make a picture, we call it poking the badger.
So to tick off the Brits even more, my mom used to make it like that when I was a kid. I love iced tea. Or she'd just put it outside and let the sun make the tea, and then we'd put it in the fridge.
Yeah, Heat Shield, I technically have Discord. I virtually never use it.
Hey, Ox, how you doing?
I suppose I can load up the Discord if you tell me what your handle is on there. We'll just give that a minute. Yeah, everybody's going over to Discord now, and I don't like it. Anytime I have the Discord open, it is constantly like giving me that beep tone, but giving me no clue where I'm supposed to look.
I'm so glad you said that, because I had to explain to Sam that I'm a total boomer when it comes to technology. Purple, you made me feel better. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to Discord.
Oh, okay. Spooky's taking care of sending the link, so that'll be good.
I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to Discord, so I'm glad you said that. It made me feel better.
Yeah, most of the stuff, I still don't know what I'm doing.
I wondered where you went.
I had to do shenanigans.
Hey, Ox.
Ox, how you doing?
Okay, so you got your camera set the way you want it?
No.
That's kind of cool, having your avatar over your shoulder there.
I am cool.
So how is it over there on Fancy Accent Island?
You taking the piss?
No, I'm actually asking you a question. I really am trying to engage you, Stool. I'm trying to ask you how are you doing?
Are you taking
in
the piss
another way?
Are you taking the piss because I'm white?
Yeah,
Eh?
I was on Black Sofa. I was on Black Sofa's show earlier. It was
I've
Mike
yeah, I
and
miss.
Scientist Mel and I, and we're talking about how much happier the fish are that they're British.
I kind of was asleep, so I missed it.
Do the fish get little flags and passports?
They wave their little flags and they sing the national anthem.
Yeah, no, Mike was showing us a quote from one of the British politicians that actually said that the fish are happier. And it's like, yeah, like the fish know or care.
He's very much. Will knows who we're talking about, Rees-Mogg, and
Oh, I do. I absolutely do.
he's very much hated. He's hated anyway. Full stop. Oh look, Jen's giving him some sex talk. He never switches his camera off when he's doing the sex talk with Jen. I find it very rude. Rees-Mogg is very hated anyway, but the thing he said in the House of Commons about the fish, the actual fishermen, the fisher people, they are really wanting to hurt him. He's a vile piece of
Mike.
trash.
Hi.
Mike, it's like 6:30. What are you doing?
Oh yeah.
Have you wet your bed again?
Yes. No, but I was in abject pain, and I couldn't get back to sleep. But now the painkillers are doing their work, so it's well, I was going to say it's all good, but it's not. It's partially good anyway.
At least takes the edge off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've had to be on the prescription painkillers for a few things from time to time.
I have problems sleeping, so I totally understand. By this time of the week, I'm exhausted
Oh,
because my sleeping habits are so terrible. By this time of the week, I'm just exhausted.
Okay, I gotta respond to this about the iced tea. Because I've gone, Badger and I have gone back and forth and round on this so often that apparently if you brew the tea hot and you get distracted, that sitting on the table, it gets down to room temperature, it's still okay to drink. But as soon as I put it in the refrigerator, it becomes an abomination.
That's
my understanding of it at this point.
That's how you make. That's quite literally how you make iced tea. I love putting it out in the sun, letting it sit there, and then popping it in the fridge.
Yeah, I used to do that. I used to have a gallon jug, but you need to have a glass jug for that to work.
Exactly.
You can't do it in a plastic.
Not even those fake, that weird fake glass. That doesn't even work. Yeah, it has to be real glass.
Yep. Yeah, because I think the glass the curved glass, I think actually does kind of work like a magnifying lens and kind of concentrate the heat.
Exactly. Is this disturbing? Is this conversation disturbing to you guys? Listening to two Americans describe how we deface tea.
Well,
it is sweet tea. I definitely have to put some sugar in it.
Me too, like half a pound.
my oldest daughter loves iced tea, but I don't see the appeal myself.
I didn't realize how much I drink tea, in air quotes, tea, until I went in my fridge one day and I was like, oh yeah, I love iced tea. It's always in my fridge. Because I drink a lot of coffee and I didn't realize that as an American, I just look at it like another drink. It's not anything special.
Yeah, well, mostly it's like I do have a sweet tooth, and making the iced tea is a hell of a lot cheaper than pop. Not to mention the carbonation doesn't really help my system any.
Absolutely. Did you ever drink brisk iced tea back in the day, Perp?
Yeah, and it's still something like, well, when I'm out driving, I might pick up a bottle of it, but it has changed over the years. They've made it a lot sweeter than it used to be.
Oh, that stinks. I was hooked
I'm
on
sorry.
that stuff.
I didn't realize we had somebody waiting under the toolbar. Hello, Gizmo.
Oh, hello. Hi,
How's it
Perp.
going?
I wasn't waiting. I just now tapped the enter the show button. Thank you, buddy.
Oh, okay, good. Because, yeah, I know on my thing for StreamYards, if there's more than 4 people, the second row winds up getting hit under the toolbar, so I don't always see it.
That's happened to me a few times.
Just showed up. This is Heat Shield, by the way.
Okay, yeah, I was guessing it was you.
Nice to meet you.
So you had a story to tell us. Actually, yeah, you've never been live in here before.
At least not for a year. I think I was last year at some point.
Okay.
Maybe actually over a year now at this point. Now I'm just on my phone, so I may have just a little bit of lag. I'm sorry if I was interrupting. It took me a second to get set up.
Oh, no, you're fine. And
Right,
I'm not noticing any more lag from you than from anyone else.
Right on. Please continue. I don't want to interrupt. I'll share my story in a second.
Okay.
I just wanted to get a feel for the room. I didn't want to jump in and just start, blabbing about my drunken escapades.
Oh, it's okay. I ramble, and Stool is too busy guarding his fish. He's head of the Navy. So you're okay.
Okay, Sloth Girl is saying there's a difference between sweetened tea and sweet tea. I'm not sure what the distinction would be.
Seriously, if you could understand the amount of effort I had to go through when I went away briefly in order to make this work, you've no idea what I've got. You've no idea what I've got going on around me. I'd be good on a desert island, I tell you this.
Your camera troubles are that bad, huh?
Well, yeah, they kind of are, because I've usually there's a wall light just behind me and the bulb is gone. And because it's a stupid American bloody screw-in thing, I haven't got any spare ones. And that's a good light. It's really good for video. The ceiling light is a fucking energy efficient one, so that's shit.
Yeah. But what discs would you have on your desert island stall?
That's a good one. Oh, I'm going to have to think about that one. Mikey, cheeky person, your mind's awake this morning, isn't it, young man?
It is now. It is now that I've injected caffeine into my veins. Yeah.
Caffeine and painkillers. Yay.
Well, the caffeine does make the painkillers kick in faster.
So they tell me. Yeah.
That's an interesting combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Do you need to explain to our American friends what that disc reference was? Will probably know, but I'll let you explain while I have a cigarette.
There's a show on the wireless called Desert Island Discs. Or there was back in the day. I don't know. Maybe it's still there. I don't know.
It is still on. Yeah, it's still going.
Yeah. So yeah, where the guest, celebrity, had lists. I think his all the albums that he would take with him to a desert island, and it's quite interesting sometimes.
I think I used to hear that. Yeah, because a lot of places in the U.S., when NPR goes off the air, they go to BBC.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I think that used to be on late at night years ago here.
It's been going for decades and decades, and it is still ongoing now.
I haven't heard it for ages, though.
No, I don't. I struggle to find the energy to switch radio stations, so I'm just stuck on LBC.
Yeah, same with me, I think, yeah.
Okay, Spooky says there are allowed 8 songs.
That's
Yeah, this
right.
is
Yeah.
true.
I thought it was 10, but yeah, you're right. It's 8 actually.
Just agree with him, Mike. He'll get stroppy. You know what he's like.
And be nice to Spooky.
Seriously, I'm blinding myself here. If you can see the reflection in my spectacles,
I can actually on the right side or left side.
I've had to get my bedside lamp from the other side, which took me a while because the cable's all buried under crap. So it's literally shining in my fucking face. Oh,
I can
it's bad.
tell because you're blinking.
Yeah, I don't usually blink.
Yeah.
But,
This light is so strong it's even reflecting on Will's head.
anyway, I am. I've just. I am. I don't know. This is the first time I've met you. Is it Will? Godless Sewing and
Yeah, it's all the above.
yeah.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well.
Likewise, and it's good to meet Gizmo as well. I haven't met him either before.
Yeah, Gizmo is a heat shield, hangs out in a lot of the side chats.
Cool.
I think we're on opposite hours, probably. I'm on the west coast of in California, in America, and I don't know why I said that because I'm exhausted. But I'm the second to last time zone on Earth.
All right.
So when people post stuff, I'm usually waking up.
This is the first time. This is the first time I've been on Purple's. On this stream anyway. I'm usually on the other one. I've been on the other one with Doc Fearsome a couple of times. But,
yeah, the other one's a more decent hour for you.
Yeah. Usually I'm still asleep at this hour, but this time I'm not.
Being awake is not a prerequisite for being in here. I've told you that.
I always say I'm up, but I'm not erect.
He does always say that.
I do. I do.
I always tell people I can either be awake or out of bed before 10 a.m., but never both on the same day.
Right.
If you want me moving around in the morning, it's zombie mode.
I'm a complete a-hole until I get my coffee. And then I'm semi-tolerable until about the third cup.
Yeah, same. Same. I am not a morning person. I need one.
Yeah, generally, if you see me on before 10 o'clock in the morning, it means I haven't gone to bed yet.
If you try to talk to me before I've had my coffee, it's like, good morning, Mike.
I will say the only good thing about the coronavirus is that I don't have to drive my son to school every day. So it's really brought my tension level down. Because usually, I'm having a full meltdown, flipping somebody off, driving my son to school at 6:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
And now I get up at 6:45 and say, "Get up, get up," make him breakfast, and then I go fall asleep on the couch while his teacher's yelling at him.
I usually forget about this one. How do I say this phrase? Damn it, my brain's just fucked now. This one that I can't do it.
Here we are.
It's funny. I'm exhausted, so I'm going in the opposite direction. I get it, Stool.
This show that Perps is doing now, at this particular time of day, I usually miss it because I will be asleep. But I was awake. I was watching Atheist Republic. They're quite cool because they talk a lot about Majid, Will.
Okay. Okay.
So I was watching a little video about that because he's gone totally weird.
He's always been on the fringe, but has he finally jumped over the cuckoo's nest, so to speak?
He's gone, yeah. He's completely gone. So I was watching that, which was interesting. And I also joined the forum while I was doing that. Got my free ebook for getting the newsletter. And I actually got a notification about this on my phone. I'm getting notifications now. Yay. So that's how I knew it was occurring. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a clue.
Do you know what's funny? For some reason, I haven't been getting notifications for Jen's, the stream I was on, I didn't get a notification. And for this one, I didn't get a notification either.
No, it's not very reliable.
It's not. It's so not. But you know, what's gone down more than anything I've noticed is Twitter. Twitter has gone down quite a few times, much more than Facebook ever has, or YouTube.
I've only noticed it, well, we say going down. I mean, I've noticed little glitches for less than a minute. You know, when you try and post and it says, no, come back later.
Yeah, I've been noticing Twitter refusing to post things here.
But that was mostly when there's something big occurring in the world, such as an election or something. But
hey, Doc.
Hey, Doc, how are you doing?
Summoned me. I heard my name. A foul epithet cast upon ethereal winds. Have I scared y'all yet?
Oh, I'm just making sure it was you. I thought you were Peter for a second. Mm-hmm. I was really thinking you were Peter for a second.
Whenever somebody joins, always assume it's Peter. Even if it's Mel.
I did actually have that thought when I saw the handle Gizmo. I wasn't sure if that was Heat Shield or Peter pulling on us.
I did that once, you know. I was streaming, and down below in the green room, I saw Scientist Mel, but it was a video moving, and I still wouldn't let her in because I thought it was Peter fucking about.
Exactly. He's getting better and better with that too. So anything? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say the name checks out. That was pretty fearsome. Fierce,
I know you had me. You had me completely shut me up, and that's rare. What kind of code? Oh, sorry.
This is the first time I got to hang out with Heat Shield, though. I think.
Oh, my phone screen is so small I can't see who's talking. Who said that?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh yeah, hey, yeah,
the scary one.
Yeah, actually, it is, isn't it? Nice to see you.
Yeah, excellent to meet you. I think you were like my first subscriber or something. I don't know. You were special to me at one point, and I've forgotten now.
There's a good chance of that. Hey, put that on a greeting card.
You were special at one point. I forgot why.
There you go. I'd buy one just on the off chance I needed to send it to someone.
Oh, I can think of occasions I'd send that to members of my family.
Oh, no.
That was the biggest reason I had to move. There was too much of my family in that town. And I have learned that proper distance between me and most of my biological family is the state of Wisconsin.
It's like, if I told you lately that I loved you. Wait, no, really, I can't remember. There's probably a reason I haven't.
Well, and for the most part, you know, it's not really any animosities. It's like, I know most of my family means well, and they sincerely think they're trying to help me, but they have no clue who I am or what I value.
You know, it's funny. My family knows exactly who I am and what I value, and they don't value me. So it worked out that we don't talk to each other.
Yeah, well, you know, I came out to my whole family, you know, long ago, back in the 90s. So it's like they all know about it, but if we don't talk about it, it didn't really happen. So they don't ever want to acknowledge it. I sent out 15 copies of a coming out letter and only 2 people have ever acknowledged receiving them.
So when you're
Oh,
in the
wow.
same room with these people, do they still not acknowledge it?
Nope, they don't.
Wow.
We just don't talk about it. And if it comes up, my mother is very quick to change the subject.
My mom's like that with atheism. She would rather I be a Bond villain and try to take over a country somewhere than be an atheist, which she probably thinks is the same thing, to tell you the honest truth. It's one of those things, and she always jabs me with a gun. And she doesn't have bad intentions, but she's definitely trying to convert me back to Catholicism.
I actually appreciate that.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, Sloth Girl, I don't identify as a man or a woman, so I don't count as either.
There you go.
I'm just an individual. I'm just me.
And a lot of people, including most of my family, still think we're a couple. And it's like, no, we support each other, but we have to have separate apartments because we would drive each other crazy very shortly.
I think that's
and as far as any kind of a romantic relationship, we have completely different expectations, so that would never work.
So the term that comes to my mind is next door roommates.
Yep, that's what I've been saying. Is that we're roommates with separate apartments. Most days she cooks dinner and I go up there and we have dinner together. We hang out for a couple hours, watch some TV and that, and then I come back down to my own place.
Do you know my parents were together for 45 years, and I think their secret to marriage was that they didn't hang out in the same room with each other.
That makes so much sense.
They would eat dinner, they would do their thing during the day, but at night they would part ways. And I mean it, like after dinner they would not talk to each other until they went to sleep. And I swear they lasted longer because they didn't talk for like 8 hours every day, Just, but what do I know? I'm divorced, so don't take any advice from me whatsoever.
My parents were sort of in the same thing that, basically my dad was working all day, and by the time they got to bed, they were probably both too exhausted to even acknowledge there was another person in the room.
Same thing. I think it's that old school mentality too.
Oh, good night, Jen.
Yeah, I mean, my parents have been together for over 40 years, and I remember when I was a kid, growing up, they would shout and scream at each other all the time. But now, I think they came to a point that they realized that they're two different people, and they've got they've got separate interests, and now I think the reason why it works is because they both do their own thing. They've got their own lives, and and it works for them.
I think sometimes that's the only way it will work. You kind of have to come to an agreement because the old ways are two people who are just stuck in the same house staring at each other, doing that because society told them to.
Yeah. My parents got married when my dad was 18 or 19, and they stayed together until he died, and I think he was 87 when he died.
Wow.
And it's like, I even remember as a kid, my mom occasionally talking about divorce and staying together for the kids, but it was just kind of the old school thing that wasn't going to happen.
And that's a good how would you put it? That's a good point to bring up that shoot, I can't see the names on the screen now. Top center
Godless
said that Sewing, yes. Said, I'm divorced, so don't take any advice from me. Well, that's actually sort of self-deprecating unnecessarily. Somebody who's divorced knows a whole hell of a lot more about relationships than someone who's just made it stick out for the kids, sort of in air quotes. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, that's always a good thing. Make it work for the sake of the kids, always, for the future. But somebody who knows about divorce knows a hell of a lot more about relationships than someone who's just sort of made it work.
True.
For a different reason. And no offense to you, your parents' story, intended.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah. It wasn't good.
But
They
I mean,
should
people
have
who have been
stayed
through
together.
a lot
Yeah.
and actually it didn't work, they probably have some good advice.
You know,
I'll
the
take it
thing
back.
is,
They might not know more, but they probably have some invaluable advice.
I know exactly what I want and what I will and will not put up with. So I have boundaries when before I didn't have boundaries.
As
And
far
I
as
was
me
saying-
and Sloth Girl,
Hey.
I think what sums it up the best is that she is Sancho Panza to my Don Quixote. It is her job to explain to the rest of the world all the bizarre things I do.
I've got to the stage now where I'm no longer looking for someone to complete me, as I was, before. I need to be completing myself.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near there at the moment.
that was deep.
You know what? For myself, I wasn't ready till I dropped all my codependent habits. Because I realized half of my girlfriends were around just because I wanted someone around. And I didn't like that person after a while. Or myself.
Well, what I kept running into was that women who wouldn't seriously consider dating me, when they had kids, looked at me very differently.
Mm.
So apparently, didn't think I could be a husband, but I could be a father. So that's how I wound up over the course of 25 years and 4 relationships, raising 9 kids.
Wow.
Whoa.
And the longest relationship I had went on for 12 years until the kids were basically grown and self-sufficient, and the oldest one had moved out. And then it seemed I had outlived my usefulness, and she pushed me out of the house.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, and quite honestly, most of those, when they ended, I wind up missing the kids more than I miss the woman I was with.
And no, you can't compare animals to people, but I miss my old dog. My ex-wife still has my old dog. The dog was evil, and I still miss Lulu.
Yeah, Sloth Girl helps me deal with a lot of the problems I have with the autism. The main thing being I have no facial recognition at all. That, people, no matter how many times I've seen people, I do not recognize people.
Does that work with animals too?
No, actually, I'm better at differentiating animals than people.
So I should leave my user avatar as my dog instead of my face?
Well, one of the things, the internet helps because I'm more likely to recognize a voice than the face.
Yeah.
That's if
interesting,
somebody
actually.
comes behind me and I hear the voice before I see them, I'm much more likely to know who it is.
That's really interesting, man. I never actually thought about that too much. I mean, I've heard of it, but I never actually have, thought of it too much or spoken with anybody that I don't want to say suffers, but experiences that. How do you...
It does make social situations very awkward, especially, if I run into somebody in a store, someplace I'm not expecting to see the person. It's really very awkward.
Man, that's interesting. That could be an entire topic for like a reach paper. I mean, I'm sure it's been done plenty of times, but wow.
Yeah.
Has anyone approached you?
I'm not on the spectrum, but like when people surprise, even like my neighbors will surprise me at the grocery store or something, and it's awkward sometimes. It's absolutely socially awkward. So even I have moments like that as a complete talker and loudmouth, where I'm kind of geeking out at the grocery store, and I turn around and they're like, "Hi, let's talk about something from 25 years ago." It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we all do. I know I do. I couldn't imagine that being like part of my life, like an accepted part of my life. Like I won't recognize someone that I should know. Is that something that's actually like do you struggle with it?
Yeah.
Wow, that is.
You know, and like I say, that up in that small town I was in, we had a lot of relatives there, and it's like, you know, even my cousins, anyone that I wasn't seeing pretty much, you know, several times a week.
Let me just get a feel for this, if you don't mind. Do you not mind talking about it too much?
Oh, no, I'm fine with it.
All right, let's say you and I have been friends online for years, and I went to your house for a meeting, whatever, for whatever reason. And we spent 3 or 4 days together, and we camped out and we went hiking or whatever, spent 3 or 4 days together. And then I passed you in the store as I was leaving town. Is there a chance you wouldn't recognize me?
Yeah,
quickly, within a couple days?
I probably wouldn't recognize you, and I'd have to like get you to start talking to give me some key to attach to it.
What about like identifiable features? I wear a cowboy hat when I go out in public, and people recognize me with it so much that when I'm not wearing my cowboy hat, I could walk up to the same people and they don't realize it's me.
Well, yeah, if somebody has, that is the one thing I can pick up on. If somebody has particular hairstyle or something, hairstyle or facial hair, or like, distinctive glasses.
Wow, Perp. That's fascinating. To use an overused term, that truly is fascinating. I've never actually spoken with anybody who deals with that.
Yeah, it's something that people really don't get. And like I say, it winds up being a lot of awkward and very embarrassing situations. Because people think that I'm like, discounting them or something. And it has nothing to do with, importance or level of engagement that we've had before.
Especially nowadays when people are so sensitive and they can't think beyond themselves. I work with special needs adults, and it happens a lot more nowadays where people do not understand what's going on with somebody else.
Yeah, Sloth Girl is very much a social buffer for me. Especially going to any kind of group events.
Sloth Girl.
I have a lot of social anxiety, and generally, anytime there's going to be more than 5 people in the room, it's going to be very difficult for me.
Sloth Girl, that's cute. I like that. I saw you on the pulled up chat there. I had to turn off YouTube because it was echoing in my ear, so I'm not looking at the YouTube chat. But I saw that you pulled up that you whisper in his ear.
Yep.
If he wonders who's around. That's cute.
Yeah, she clues me in for things. And also, especially, at family gatherings, she can tell when I'm getting overloaded and just, find an excuse to get me out of there.
That is a good person to have around.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a good friend. Yeah.
Indeed. So Perp, I was curious, because I'm not a real doctor, so I don't know anatomy that well, but there's definitely an area of the brain that is specific to facial recognition. Is there like something going on there for you, or is it part of something else somehow, or? Well,
it is something that often goes with the autism. I also wonder if maybe part of it is just that my eyesight was very poor, even as a child, and probably for years earlier than they detected it. So I think that, as a child, when people are normally learning these things, everyone was just kind of a blur to me. So I didn't really see the features very distinctively.
Wow.
That might have a lot to do with it. And
Yeah,
the
well, that's my
developmental
theory on it.
stages of your brain.
Yeah, that skill just didn't develop, when I was
Yeah, it
like
might.
3 to 5 years old, when most people would pick it up.
Yeah, it might be that facial recognition area of your brain wasn't properly developed because you don't have the clear visual memory to associate with it or something. Maybe, I don't know. It is fascinating to me too.
Hey, there's Jenny.
Yeah, it really is. Really is.
Well, and I still have other problems, like with socializing, that I don't pick up on facial expressions or body language.
See, I'm the complete opposite. Well, not necessarily the complete opposite, but I'm excellent with faces and horrible with names and voices. Like if I had to do a lineup visually, like, a police lineup, I'd score 100%, even if I saw you for a tenth of a second. But I wouldn't be able to pick your voice out of a lineup if it was, an audio lineup in, like, let's say 2 weeks. I'd be like, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
I'm like the opposite, I guess.
Because the vision was so blurry as a child that my brain kind of developed in other ways that I'm just not very visually oriented at all. And I tend to do a lot of things by sound or by tactile senses.
Yeah.
Even to the point of like using my power tools, that it would scare my fiance watching me. But, it's like I had a hand on the table saw because I could tell by the vibrations, like when it was getting to a denser part of the wood or when it hit a knot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
How many fingers are you missing there?
Well, I'm missing 1/3 of 3 fingers.
Okay.
But
wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
It's not from a table saw accident, though, is it?
Actually, that's from the radial arm saw.
Oh, good Lord.
But yeah, I went over 40 years being the only male member of my family who had never needed stitches from a power tool before that.
Oh, I have nightmares about stuff like that. So I'm, for as goofy as I am, I'm surprised I still have all my digits.
Yeah, well, that was a really weird thing because I had actually I'd flipped the power off, but the blade was still spinning.
Mm.
And what, you just dive in for the part?
Yeah, I had pulled the part out and something happened that the part shifted on the table and my fingers wound up getting pulled up between the blade and the guard.
Oh.
Yeah, and even the doctor at the ER said that it wouldn't have been as bad if I didn't have the blade guard on. My hand would have bounced off. And that was the only, I'd owned that same saw for over 20 years, and that was the first time I had all the guards in place.
Oh. It's funny when things like that happen. I had this really fancy watch I never wore, and on a whim one day, I put it on and I get in my car, I'm driving around, and I got in one of the worst car accidents I've ever been in my life, and it exploded and left a scar on my hand.
Your watch exploded?
Well, I got in a car accident and it came apart. When I say it exploded, it came apart and, it ripped its way off my hand.
You just gave me a really strange cartoony, cartoony vision of like you get in a crash and like somehow your lithium battery got pierced and it blew your face off.
It actually was, it was kind of funny because I hit a power pole in front of a fire truck and I jumped out of the window. I ran up to the fire truck and I'm like, fire, because I'm in shock. I'm in like actual shock. And I remember the fire chief grabbing me. They're running over to my truck and he grabs me and he's like, hey, be careful. There's a dead guy in that truck. And I remember looking and being like, oh, I feel sorry for that guy. That's how dazed I was. No one saw me jump out. I ran straight up to the truck. It all kind of, it was one of those things that happened so fast.
Oh, did they think you were still in it and you were the dead guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's freaking weird.
It was a weird semblance of events that happened. I got lucky, or I would have set like half a canyon on fire. I got lucky. I crashed in front of a fire truck. Let's just put it that way. And always wear.
I would
your
have had like
seatbelt.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Even if not for your
popped through in and out. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, please go ahead.
No, just X, the Utah Outcast, had just kind of ran through here, but is already leaving.
Awesome.
I would have had an existential meltdown, like looking at my own car, having somebody tell me, "Don't go near that. There's a dead guy." I would have been like, "Am I dead? Am I a ghost? Can you see me?"
You know, I was so dazed. I still laugh at my response. I was so dazed. I remember turning and looking and be like, "Oh, feel sorry for that guy." But I was so concussed that it was like all comedy after that because I survived.
Wow, man. Yeah, I've had some nasty crashes in the past, man. We could talk about that for hours, I'm sure.
The funny thing is after all of it, I called my parents because this is when my dad was still alive. My dad was, even in his old age, he was a tough guy. I called him. I was like, "I got in an accident. I need you to come pick me up." I get in the car, and the first thing my mom says, "Are you still an atheist?"
Oh no!
That Catholics, they will recruit you until the last moment. I give her respect. She never gives up. She never gives up.
And actually, in that situation, I can see that as being a reasonable question to anyone who is religious.
It's on the to-do list for the day.
I shouldn't be here, honestly. I was wearing my seatbelt and I had my window down, so it saved my life because I had to jump out. My car was completely pinned in. I had to jump. I just had enough mental wherewithal to jump out the window. But I just consider life situational. I got lucky.
I'm amazed I haven't broken any bones. The amount of times, because with the amount of times I fell off my bike or fell out of a tree or,
Been there.
Been there.
I'm still counting on one hand. Been there.
Yep.
The first two are where I broke my bones. Falling out of a tree and wiping out on a bike. Broke my collarbone on the bike. Broke both my wrists on the tree. Off the tree, I should say.
These days, we encourage our kids to wear helmets when they go out on their bicycles. But I grew up, not wearing a cycle helmet. So, but the amount of times I fell off that thing, I'm amazed. I'm really lucky I didn't damage my skull.
Oh, that's interesting because the only bone I've ever broken was my skull. Never broken an arm or a finger or anything. Well, it's not true anymore. I broke my thumb last year, but never broke a bone in my life besides my actual skull.
Did you crack the actual skull?
I had a fracture. I had a skull fracture.
No,
did I cry?
Did you cry?
No, I didn't even know it happened. Didn't even know it happened.
It's my accent.
I broke a finger and I broke my foot once. But
talking about crying, I'll tell you how hard I am, Mrs.
I
broke my collarbone about 3 years ago, and that's painful because you literally can't move the top half of your body.
Yep.
So I took myself to A&E, and they X-rayed me. And the two ladies who were X-raying me were taking the piss. They were making me get into all kinds of weird positions, whatever. And they kept nudging each other, and I didn't know what was happening. And I went back to the doctor. He's got my X-ray on the screen, and he said, "Have you ever broken your arm before?" And I said, "No." He said, "Look at this." "Yes, you have." And there was a bloody fracture halfway down my arm. that was a couple of years
Oh.
old.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So you were
Were you
just
able
walking
to-
around.
Were you able to figure out what it was originally from?
Oh yeah, I remember the event, but I thought I'd just hurt a muscle. But I
Oh,
knew I'd
man.
broken my arm. I have to say though, when the original fracture happened, I was lay on my back for a week and couldn't move. So that should have been a clue.
Yeah, well, you say about the collarbone, and
Oh,
one of my foster brothers was a MP stationed in Germany, so they weren't allowed to carry weapons patrolling the perimeter of the base. They just had these big flashlights with the 8D cells, and that's that was one of the things he taught me was that, yeah, if somebody's threatening you, you take something like this as a club. Yep, one of those things.
it's
Yeah,
so
Yeah, we
big.
call that
Yeah,
the
aim,
blind crack.
and
Yeah.
aim for the collarbone.
And these
You
things are
blind
no
them and
joke.
crack
Because
him in the
if you
shoulder.
crack the collarbone, there's no way they're going to be using that arm to hold a weapon.
That is true.
Absolutely.
Yep, blind crack.
Yep.
You turn it on, blind him, and smack him in the shoulder. Smack him in the neck. Blind crack. Boom. It's a hell of a defense.
Yeah, so that's what he taught me is that, you take something like that and it's like you hit the collarbone or the wrist and there's no way they're going to be coming at you with a weapon anymore.
Oh, with all the D batteries in that thing's a baseball bat.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a
and
nice
I-
little unit you got there, sewing. That's a nice
I
little
trained
unit.
to fight with a
Oh,
walking
thank
stick
you.
I had.
Out of all the flashlights I have, this is just, it's old. It's on the old principle. This is an old mag light, but it's still the brightest flashlight I have.
If you want something brighter, not that you expressed any interest in
please.
finding anything brighter, but if you want anything brighter, well, there's
No,
some.
I'm light sensitive. That's why I say that. So
Yeah.
that shit would work extremely well on me. You wouldn't need to hit me with it afterward. You'd
Still-
incapacitate me with the light.
Yeah, exactly.
and go with the blind and skip the crack.
I think
Yeah.
Stool is secretly in Fight Club, and he's not telling anybody about Fight Club. 'Cause that's rule number one. Good grief.
Well, that would be one of the tactics for me. If I expected it was going to be a prolonged fight, I'd try to knock the lights out. Because I know I can work in very low light better than anyone else can.
Oh, I
That's
have.
There you
actually from
go.
when I broke my collarbone.
What
I
did
didn't
you?
kn- I didn't know I'd broken my collarbone at the time. I just felt a little bit poorly, so I went and sat down in a bus station. I'd had a little bit to drink.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
your
answers
foot somebody
everything.
messed you up pretty good there.
That answers everything.
No, there were no other people involved. That's a sad thing.
I've been there.
I literally
Oh,
did
my
that to
goodness.
myself.
I figured I should enlarge that for people with smaller screens here.
Oh, I've
Oh,
been
my.
there. I bet you still have that scar.
Don't do that. That hurts.
Yeah, you really looked like somebody jumped you in an alley and roughed you up for your wallet.
That's a very sensitive place. I've been punched there before. That's a very sensitive place too. The ridge, the eyebrow ridge, that's a sensitive place.
Well, this is why it's embarrassing, because there was literally nobody else involved in this.
HJ, I have a similar story that where no one else was involved. My dumbass decided I was going to walk on a railing, and I was drinking a beer bottle in a park alone. I was just enjoying the evening, looking at the stars, put the beer bottle in my back pocket. And it's a place where, it's set up by the city, it's got a little pavilion where you can eat, dinner underneath with a campfire next to it, or a stove. I put my beer bottle in my back pocket and climbed up on the railing and tried to, balance beam my way across it. And I fell right on my ass where the beer bottle was. And I'm sitting there alone with glass in my ass, drunk in a park, alone, going, oh, what's going on? Who do I call? Nobody. I'm drunk. I drove here sober and I'm drunk now. And now I've got an injury. What do I do?
Oh, Jenny's gone.
Yep. She
That's
said she'll be
horrible,
right
man.
back. Hey, Aunt Jer. I saw
That
him
was a
come through
great
with
picture.
the AFK.
The thing
Thank you
is
for
with
sharing.
that
Thank you for
particular
sharing
sorry.
that picture. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
With that particular injury, I mean, it was painful, but I still think it's hilarious because
Oh, absolutely, man. I told my friends about it. And I had glass in my ass. I was in the park screaming alone, glass in my butt cheek.
I had one time I was working on a roof and it was starting to rain and the ladder shifted, so I fell off with my leg wrapped through the ladder onto the asphalt parking lot. My shins right across one of the concrete stops.
Mm.
And,
Oh.
you know, all I could think of was, you know, I was there alone. The building was closed because it was a weekend I was working there. And all I was thinking of is, you know, I got to get myself to somewhere for help. And I got myself into the car and I drove the, 10, 15 miles to a friend's house. And she was asking me why the hell didn't I call her to come and get me. And the whole time it never occurred to me I had a phone in my pocket.
You know, I actually, I don't know if you can see my scar, but I have a scar right here. I was reinforcing cabinets and I did the same thing where I went back to the job site. I don't know what I was thinking. And I remember the person I was working for, she told me, she's like, I could have come back to the lumberyard, and she was a surgeon. So she literally saved my face. I got lucky.
Whoa.
She put invisible stitches on my face. I cracked my face open.
That's frightening, man.
To actually bring it back around to the original topic of cats, the funniest thing when I did that was that, for a couple of days, I really couldn't walk. I just had to crawl to the bathroom.
Oh.
And one of my cats apparently decided I wasn't going to be able to feed myself, so he brought me 11 mice in 2 days.
Oh boy!
So he was deciding he was going to take care of me until I could walk again.
That cat's a keeper. How's it going, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm good, Will. Good to see you.
Awesome.
Just caught up on the rest of that stream you guys did earlier, so I only caught about half of it live. So
yeah, it all went really well. I was actually surprised by how calmly the whole thing went.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, occasionally a bit of lag with people, so it meant people talking over one another. But that happens. Happens when you have people across the globe, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And
it's something that I'm trying to encourage people. Whenever you log out of StreamYards, it asks you for a comment. And I'm asking everybody to comment that StreamYards needs a raise your hand feature so the moderator can tell who wants to go next.
Yeah,
I've never been asked for a comment.
And it's like, if they get that same kind of comment a couple thousand times, maybe they'll add the feature.
I agree.
Yeah. But barring that, and then one or two arseholes in the chat, which was to be expected, it was all right. Yeah.
I stuck to what I originally said when I would boot somebody out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was, I didn't even look at their comments. They were like, "Oh, so and so." I was like, "Oop," and then I see I didn't kick them out, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll just permanently ban them." So I made an enemy.
Yeah.
I didn't even read what they were saying.
Hey, Perp, I sent you a little picture on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
If we're not done with the self-mutilation theme.
Yeah. Sloth Girl was disappointed. She brought marshmallows waiting for the dumpster fire.
we actually had a lovely conversation, and SJ is an absolutely lovely human being.
Don't fall for that.
I'm gonna love to speak to her again.
Yeah, everybody says that when they first meet her.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, doorknob head. Look at you, buddy.
Is it like Doctor Who, where everybody's like, oh, they start with stars in the eyes, then they die in the end?
I think with her, it's like you can have a sort of very reasonable conversation with her or whatever, but then you just hear her say something that is so batshit insane that it's like, you're like, what? You know?
Okay, here's the picture Jenny wanted to share.
Ooh,
You got a good gouge there.
that's nasty.
That looks like
Don't do that. That hurts.
Well, I know you
Looks
were an
like-
auto mechanic, so what did you do that on?
Well, I want to hear what somebody was about to say, what they think it
That-
was.
Well, I was gonna guess that looks like something spinning at extremely high RPM. Just got away from you, and you weren't able to pull away in time. I'm gonna say
Oh,
a hole saw and some roofing tar.
no, but you're amazingly close. I was working on a bench grinder with a wire wheel, and you know how they can grab a part and suck it in.
Oh man!
And it grabbed my finger and sucked it in.
Oh man!
That's not the punchline. Twice.
Twice.
Yeah, the first one, all the thick callus on my finger prevented any injury. The second one was raw, so it peeled the skin right off.
Oof. That's not a recent injury, is it?
No, a couple of years ago. And
Well, that reminds me.
and it didn't bleed.
Oh, I'm sure that
If I send you a
cauterized
picture,
the wound immediately.
Oh. sorry. If I send you, can I send you a picture into the group? Is that how you share pictures, or do I have to send it directly to you?
That's one way you can do it. That's how I do it.
If you send it on Twitter, I can highlight it and
All right.
show it that way.
See if I can find it.
Or if it's just on your computer, you can just do the share screen at the bottom. Yeah, you have to open it up with a viewing program and then do the share screen.
I'm a boomer. Every time I hit a button, I kick myself out of a stream.
And they left you in charge of that stream last night. Good grief.
That last picture kind of reminds me of the guy that has two missing fingers because he lost one in a brake press, and when he reached in to pick it up so he could preserve it and get it reattached, he lost the second one.
Oh dear.
That's pretty funny.
Yikes.
I was a mechanic for 40 years, and I have all my fingers, and they all work. I quite a few very nasty scars, but mostly from burns.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how few bones I've broken. Because over the years, I fell off a half dozen different roofs.
And after I retired, it took 2 years for my hands to get clean and soft again,
Yeah, I believe that.
and for my nails to start growing back properly.
Oh, I still have a funky nail. One of my thumbnails. It comes out twice, or it comes out as two, like one side beside the other. Pisses me off.
Yeah, you damaged the nail bed.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's actually almost fixed, but it's been like 15 years, and it's it's been a really weird journey. Not that compares to people with broken collarbones and things, but that's my contribution.
I'm
The only
laughing at
bone
that now.
broken, as an adult was a few years ago when I slipped on a wet spot in my kitchen. Broke my wrist in my own house.
You're
Oh,
laughing,
man.
but I almost died over a DVD case on carpet. I almost broke my neck on a DVD case in my old apartment. Years
Oh
ago.
man.
Years.
Yeah, it happens in the least expectable ways, man. I was riding a bike, walking my dog, and I was like, this dog can walk or run way faster than I can, so I'll just get on my bike. and we went over a curb, and I freaking bailed, and I busted my thumb, as I might have mentioned before. But
yeah,
that was no good.
Yeah, I can't find my pictures of the cast, the fiberglass cast they gave me when I did the 3 fingers thing. But
man,
you know, I
it
had
happens
a
in the
contract to
weirdest
finish.
ways.
I was remodeling a restaurant, so I had to keep working. So I actually went and I modified the fiberglass cast to hold an array of tool bits.
Oh, do you have do you have like screws in it and stuff with a little like tool placements in it?
Yeah, well, you know, I had like the socket for the standard 1/4-inch hex bit, so I could put
Oh
all different
God, you have
screwdriver bits.
you
And I
have
had
to
a
find
slot.
that.
I had a slot that I could put a reciprocal saw blade into it.
You have to
that's
find
awesome.
that.
Oh,
You
that's
have to
awesome.
find that.
You know, and it's like after 2 weeks, I went for, you know, the doctor's checkup to see how it was healing. And he was telling me about, you know, that, well, we can probably get you into physical therapy and you could probably learn to hold a fork again. And I told him I had been pounding nails with it 2 hours earlier.
I could just see it. Perp in the early days of the internet, like, look, guys, I am discount Iron Man.
Yeah. I'm now
Just glue
qualified
it.
to be a high school shop teacher.
Just gluing things to your body, like, don't worry, I'll make it through this.
Well, all the years in my shop, and I didn't have one employee have to go to the hospital because I was such a stickler for safety, except for myself. I should have done as I said, not as I did.
I'll never forget my first craft design and technology lesson at a secondary school. You know, our teacher gave us. He started the lesson by giving us a horror story about a former pupil who wasn't paying attention, and he cut his thumb off on the bandsaw, and I'll never forget that. I was shocked. I think we all were.
I've heard a similar story to that. With someone who actually cut 2 of their fingers off on the bandsaw whilst giving a safety demonstration.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey guys, watch! Don't do this.
I bet those people will never forget that.
I want to find somebody who's got a 3D scanner and printer so that they can scan my good hand and make copies of the fingertips, you know, for the other hand, just because I think it would be hilarious to see what happens when people shake my hand and they fall off.
They would be mortified.
Dude,
Absolutely mortified.
Perp, I can actually suggest a way. I dabble in magic. I have for pretty much my whole life. I can actually suggest a way you can do that without the incredible expense of a 3D scanner and printer.
Yeah, I just don't know how I get them to look realistic.
Oh, just make a mold out of plaster of Paris and use silicone. And do a silicone cast of them.
You're right, I should have thought of that. But, well, see, the problem also is they have to be, you know, the mirror image. They have to be flipped.
No, they don't. It's just for a gag.
Yeah, I suppose it would work. There's not that much curve to them. Most people wouldn't notice if they're a little bit the wrong direction.
Oh, here we go. I take so many pictures. Yikes.
The dumbest accident I was ever in was one Thanksgiving. My dad was in the hospital for some what turned out to be for relatively minor things, but he had to spend a couple days there, and so my mom was going to cancel Thanksgiving. So I said, "Mom, I'll come over and I'll do Thanksgiving dinner for you." And so I go over and I'm doing the prep and stuff like that, and I started cutting up potatoes for boiling. And I was using a knife I was not familiar with, and cut my thumb off. And
what?
I slipped. The knife was so sharp, I slipped through this potato way faster than I thought it would go, and it disjointed the top piece of my thumb right at the joint, and left it hanging by a few threads of tendon on the outside edge. And so I had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, needless to say.
and I ended up being in this fixture where my hand was bent around, the wrist was bent all the way around, so that because it was going to be in that position for 2 months. So they bend it around to keep the tendons long, and then they put some surgical thread through my thumbnail, and they sew your hand shut with around a ball, again to keep flexor length. And so I had to walk around with this big fixture for a couple of months. This is before I had the car shut, by the way, and and so I wanted to visit my dad. What
Hey, John.
How about?
Will, your sweetie's here.
I know I got to get off the phone.
Okay, Black Sofa, you hang out.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
yeah. I'm anyway. Thanks for having me. I'm gonna head off now.
Oh, thanks for coming in.
It was nice meeting you.
Yep, we'll catch you later on.
Yeah, catch you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye
See
bye.
you later.
Later, fellow Mike.
See you later.
Bye, Sova.
Bye.
Oh,
So I sent you one picture. I'm trying to find some better ones.
did you send it on Twitter?
Yeah. For some reason, Twitter scrambles my photos, so it makes it harder to find certain pictures.
Okay, I guess
there's
this is
one.
your picture of your traffic accident here, huh?
Yeah, and here's the other one.
Well, they do that
So-
because they have access to your photos, so they put them in a different order according to different things other than chronology.
So I would. That's the pull I hit. I swerved to somebody ran left in front of me. Was it a left or right? At this point, I don't know. I was jamming up the street in my old truck, and I hit that pole, and it instantly went up.
Yeah.
And there's another picture I sent you that's kind of like the aftermath. And
there's the truck.
I was lucky to.
You hit the pole and it burst into smoke and flames like that.
And the electricity was so loud that I
Yeah.
couldn't hear. I couldn't hear for like 2 or 3 minutes after.
You know what you did? You there on a lot of poles, if there's a transformer up above, you'll find a ground wire cable that goes all the way down the pole into the ground.
Mhm.
You probably cut right through that when you crashed.
If you look,
and that's the end result when you cut that.
oh yeah, it went right. I mean, it burnt. The fire was so intense that it seized my engine together.
Yeah, because the full power of the transformer then was arcing through the vehicle body.
The only reason I'm alive is because I jumped out the window. Still, it was one of those things.
Yeah, it looks like you shoved the engine back into the passenger compartment here.
And it's one of the most frightening noises. You talk about it being loud.
Oh, still to this day,
the
it's
power
unreal.
of the electricity. It's just frightening. We had a transformer on the pole outside my shop, and a car hit it. Not one of my cars. A neighbor hit it, and that's what happened. And it was just horrible. The black smoke is shooting literally out of the ground. And with flame and this horrible noise that sounded like the world was coming apart.
It did. It's something of nightmares.
Yeah.
When you hear the electricity surging like that, it's unreal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Needless to say, I don't drive fancy, fast trucks anymore. I slowed down after that car. And it wasn't even my fault, but it's still. I don't buy racing vehicles anymore. Or turn them into hardcore vehicles like I used to. It definitely, almost dying will have you slow down.
I've seen on the news that somebody won that 700 million Powerball.
In California?
No, one person, I think they said in Maryland.
Oh.
Wow. Electricity can turn concrete into glass. So yeah, it's okay to have a healthy fear of it.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're talking about a transformer like that, because the transmission lines are like 50,000 volts.
That's why still to this day, I kind of laugh when the firefighter grabbed me and was like, "What are you standing here? There's a dead man in there," because they legitimately thought I was still in my truck.
That's creepy as hell,
and
man.
I was too concussed to even know what was going on. I just knew to run. I saw the big red fire engine, so I just kind of ran to it and was like, "Hey, there's something on fire behind me."
Oh, that's so weird.
Oh yeah, I had the seatbelt injury for like almost a month. I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is the next day I woke up and I remember thinking, how am I going to get up? Because I was in bed and I was like, I can't get out of bed.
Yeah, you're lucky you were able to get the seatbelt off to get out of there.
Yeah, it was.
You slammed against the seatbelt so bad that you were hurt for a month from it?
I had the full stripe right here. It was a bruise.
Yeah, that's the problem with consumer harnesses. That's why race cars have 5 and 6 point harnesses.
Yeah, 4 and 5 point harnesses. Yep.
It doesn't hurt as much when you get out of the crash.
I'm not bitching too hard because the truck, like, it did its job. It saved my life. All that metal and everything melted, but it didn't get to me. Mm-hmm. So I won't cry too hard. It was it's one of those things where I look back now and I laugh because I remember waking up and being like, legitimately thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get out of bed right now because my body was so sore and I was in so much pain.
One year at the racetrack, we had this guy go off in our corner, and he crashed into an earthen berm, like about a 5-foot high earthen berm, plowed through it with the car, and up a hill and into a tree. He walked away. And I asked him, I said, "Russ, how was it? I mean, this is back in the day, just as airbags were starting to show up." And I said, "Did the airbag work?" And he says, "Yeah, the first crash."
Wow.
The second impact, it was just in my way of seeing what was going on.
Yeah.
Well, extreme pain is actually why I'm here today. It was after my hernia surgery that for 6 weeks I could barely get out of my chair, so I had nothing to do but sit and binge YouTube. That's how I wound up finding this community.
Aww.
I don't want to say I'm glad, but
I was painting a warehouse. I back in the day, I had this obsession with money, and I was painting a giant warehouse 3.5 years ago, and that's when I found the atheist community on my cell phone on good old YouTube, because I used to only watch music videos on YouTube, like old like old MTV like metal videos. And
are you saying you used to rickroll your?
That I wound up here. Because I was actually searching 80s cartoons trying to find episodes of the original Transformers.
Oh, awesome.
But then I started watching some of Bionic Dance's animation, so then it started suggesting Paul Gia and Vice Rhino and Professor Stick. And you know how you go down the wormhole.
Almost the same way. I almost went the same way. Almost word for word. The algorithm sends you in that direction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think with me it was started watching a couple of debates online, like like some of the old Hitchens ones, and then that sort of led me to, I think, one of the ones Matt Dillahunty had, then suddenly you go there from there. You get R and Ra and Seth Andrews recommended, and that's kind of was my.
I fell in this weird phase where I started watching the Big Questions with Nikki Campbell. I think it's because I had never seen it before, and there was years and years of it on YouTube, and then the algorithm kind of sent me, oh, if you like this, you'll like this, and I eventually found the community. But it's weird how you find the community.
I'm also glad that I found a couple of the Canadians first, because if I had encountered the group of angry atheists first, I probably would have never gotten involved in the community.
I agree.
But like I said, I started with Paul G and Vice Rhino, and they're pretty laid back and just they keep to the subject. No personal attacks or anything.
Yeah, it's.
I think that's something that I'm definitely getting back into, is watching less aggressive, angry people. And part of it is being I've been trapped in my house since last March. So I'm not trying to, watch crazy angry people screaming at their computer. Spooky, if you're saying we, then you're speaking for the angry community. I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Anger management, Spooky. Anger management.
Doorknob head, if you're saying we.
I think a bit of my stream yesterday almost reverted back to angry atheism, because I thought we were just going to have a laugh. Looking through all of Greg Locke's tweets over the past sort of few weeks, and although there's one or two that are funny, most of them are just infuriating.
I saw that this morning. I was drinking my coffee and being angry. He is a disturbing human being. He is a disturbing human being. Some of his tweets, why is he still on Twitter? If I put that on Twitter, they would have taken me off.
Because not enough people report him.
Yeah.
I mean, we should go on a cancel culture cruise with him and take him out.
So when you say that, does that make you angry when you think of Greg Locke?
Yeah, I do.
Does that make you angry? How are you doing?
I'm good.
But then Greg Locke's such an angry little man anyway, isn't he? That it's.
Yeah, I
but
think
I
Greg
tend to
Locke
agree with,
really aspires to being a cult leader. He doesn't really care about what he's preaching. He just wants people to worship him.
Well, I think I tend to agree with Stull's assessment that the guy's a grifter. Really, when it comes down to it.
But I think like Trump, I think it's more about his ego than the money.
I wish he would live by me. I'd love to try to seduce him, Get a video.
Apparently, one of the words, Jeff, you were saying how difficult it is to get Greggy Poos to block you these days.
Yeah.
One way that I've found, there was a guy who met him in real life, and the guy who met him is quite short. Greggy Poos is even smaller. Apparently, he's very tiny, Greggy Poos. He doesn't like that being pointed out.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Just pointing out the Napoleon complex there.
Yeah.
Hey, Renee and me. Renee and me in YouTube chat says, I saw a lightning bolt strike a power pole once that had dual transformers atop it. As soon as the strike happened, the whole rig from the bottom to top lit up in a huge bright blue-green hue.
I have that comment. I can't get at my buttons.
A similar story that was just, I guess, maybe as scary. I was in a boat. I was really little, like 8 or 10 years old or so. And my dad, had a boat, just a little thing, maybe 18 or 20 foot little single outboard. And we were trying to pull it up because a storm came in. We're in a river, which is maybe 60 or 70 feet across, right? And a couple miles long, whatever. And as we're waiting, we're queued up, right? We're waiting to get out of the river. and people, a couple people had jumped off the boat to go get the truck with the trailer and back it in, and there's 2 or 3 boats in front of us. We're at the little boat ramp, and it's coming down. It's coming down hard. And lightning struck just across the river from us, maybe 20 or 30 feet away. On the other, or maybe 50 feet away, on the other side of the river, and it blew up a tree. It was the loudest thing I've ever heard. It blew up a tree. Mm-hmm. It sent chunks of tree into the vinyl top of the, the cover they have, the canopy they have over the boat. And later, I'll tell you about later. It actually stalled the motor. It rocked the water. It deafened us all. And later, after we got it out, after we recovered from that shock of, that emotional shock of that happening, we found actual pieces of that tree in the side of the fiberglass hull of the boat. That was frightening. Like, it could have killed us. It went through the boat. It could have gone through our faces,
Damn.
It blew up a tree. Lightning. Nature is scary, man.
God protected you.
Who? Something did, man.
Yeah, you're here because God protected you.
Yeah, maybe Dad. Maybe God. I don't know what you said. It's a little scratchy. I'm gonna think you said Dad, not God.
No, I said God.
I don't know about God, but I know a couple Jesuses. I know quite a few people named Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Jesus.
Thank you for taking me on that one.
Jizzy. Yeah. They're all very jizzy.
Although
I was just trying to fill some time while people were getting their things together.
It's that whole thing of wanting to feel Jesus' salvation all over your face.
Call me a racist, Stu. Come on.
Where you are,
honestly, I'm not sure
Jesus.
if I'd rather feel Jesus' salvation all over my face or exploding tree in my face, but I remember that.
It depends on what side of town you're on. Jesus will do all kinds of things to you.
Yeah.
Don't call him Hosey for nothing.
I know that Jesus too. He's gentle though. He's gentle.
My uncle exploded a truck battery in my face.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
Oh, that was painful.
Yeah, he couldn't get the snowplow started, so he was trying to jump it off another truck.
Oh yeah.
I hooked up my end and he reversed the cables on his end. So when he revved up the truck, the whole thing exploded.
Oh, boom.
Yeah, just a
was it
shower
the
of
hydrogen?
acid and shards of plastic. And
I'm surprised it lasted.
just going to say battery acid in open wounds doesn't feel real good.
Oh, man. How long had it been hooked up? Was it the hydrogen?
It happened like within 10 seconds of when he hooked it up.
So it wasn't,
as soon as he revs the truck.
Yeah, it wasn't likely the ionization. It was probably just that it was deeply, deeply faulted.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
This is why they tell you if you're going to jump a car, you put the positive on the positive of the battery and you connect the negative somewhere else far away in the engine compartment.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's
sparking in the hydrogen gas of a battery.
Exactly. And
really,
welcome to
matters. It's not one of those little safety freak things. This battery explosions happen way more often than you think.
Welcome to the show, Jenny. I don't know who you are, I don't think.
Okay.
Jenny Morgan? Or the other Jen? Oh.
Jenny Light's gone.
Yeah.
I forgot I'd done that. Did I do it? I did all of this morning. Oh, no, nobody saw it. That's right.
Yeah.
I should change that.
I'm impressed you're on the stream here. I thought you'd have been cancelled by now.
Hey, I have more compliments about that than the negative comments. So I think in general, aside from the people who are going to have opinions to start off with, I think most people actually thought it was a really good and informative stream.
Yeah, it was surprisingly calm. I expected it to get a lot more fired up.
I don't know if it'll be worse when Steve does his continuation bit tomorrow.
That'll go downhill.
That'll go downhill, probably. Because as far as I know, Chesh will be on that, so it'll probably go downhill.
Did you guys notice today that we went through the entire day and there were no social group was threatened by the White House? Nobody's program was canceled. No nation was threatened. And nothing insane came out of the White House today.
I genuinely don't know what to do when everything's okay. I don't know what to do.
That would probably depend on who you ask, Jenny, because I am pretty sure that there's an awful lot of conservative groups who think the whole bit about supporting LGBTQ plus people was insane.
Oh yeah, what were the details of that? I haven't.
Oh, they're losing their. They're actually losing.
They're losing their fucking minds. That's what it is.
And in the UK, a certain
most of it is rolling back the crap that Trump did, but some of it is government departments are no longer allowed to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity, and that includes schools. And schools have to respect the gender identities of trans kids. Government-based ones, anyway.
Well, that's about time, eh?
Yeah, so all those states that have been making those stupid bathroom arguments are a bit screwed now.
Well, that's what I said yesterday. That we went from a nation that 48 hours previous I had to worry about my very existence, and today I know I'm safe.
Yeah. In all honesty, I was talking about this with Vagrant Sam. In one day, Biden has made it so that Australia now looks more aggressive than the US. That's impressive.
Well, I did see one criticism of Biden, though, that he has apparently he hasn't waved his magic wand and made the pandemic go away yet.
A lot going on about how many people have died from the coronavirus.
When he was like, "Hey, give me a break," he was basically calling that person an idiot.
The pandemic was just a hoax to ruin Trump's chances of getting reelected. No one will be talking about COVID after November 3rd.
How much of a crazy narcissist do you have to be to align a virus with anything that's going on in your life?
Yeah, but Trump actually said that in October, that after November 3rd, no one will be talking about COVID.
He's insane, and that's all.
Yeah.
Perp, did he really say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
For further information, Gizmo, I am Godless Sewing's girlfriend.
But no. I have also been adding everybody.
I'm Godless Sewing's girlfriend, and so's my wife.
I have been adding everybody's links in the description.
Yeah, but still, you're almost everybody.
Yeah, if you want to check the description, you can go and check everybody's channels afterward.
Stu, you don't want to be my third. I'm aggressive. You don't want to be my third, Stu.
Yeah. No, Jen is...
He's definitely your third stool.
Yeah.
What was that, Jeff?
Jen is Godless Sewing's girlfriend. I'm Godless Sewing's concubine.
Hey,
that's how it works.
Hey, the harem is building. My harem is.
Well, now wait a minute. Are we just doing the I am Spartacus thing here? What's going on?
I don't know if I object to having a threesome with Jeff or not.
Apparently, Chris wants a position
there too.
Chris is upset that he doesn't have a position.
I'm just watching.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
Stuhl's watching.
Aunt Jer's going to take Stuhl.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Stuhl.
No, nobody's noticed from my show that I'm naked yet.
You are.
Oh, I guess not.
Oh, spooky. Oh, spooky.
Oh, you beat me to it today, did you?
Oh, spooky. You are always loved, Spook.
I am not home alone anymore. Getting naked might shock my brother.
Now, Spooky, I really thought we had a thing going.
Yeah, You too.
We're perfect for
Spooky.
each other. Come on.
Spooky, you floozy.
Apparently,
Spooky,
I
you
missed the
dirty
line
slut.
of from where on here was taking stool.
To the toilet.
Right here, Spooky. Right here. Right here. In Odin's eye.
I guess, Aunt Joe, you'd rather use a glory hole because then you don't have to look at his face.
Oh, Sloth Girl, I'm nice. I'm nice to my kids, Sloth Girl.
Yeah, well, Sloth Girl.
I'm
doesn't
sorry,
actually
Aunt
have
Joe.
red hair.
I'm sorry.
Hey, if we're doing the I am Spartacus thing, I am Doorknob Head's reluctant stepchild.
You have to be reluctant there. That was one reluctant sperm.
I'm not any one of you fuckers.
Now I gotta bring my phone over here.
That's the last time I ever won anything. I think was the tadpole race.
Effectively, so far, I've lost the same number of subscribers as I gained from this morning's stream.
Oh, you hear who they arrested today?
Hey.
The guy who was crushing that cop in the door.
Good.
Cool.
Oh,
Good.
He's arrested, and then he has a $75,000 bail. Yahoo!
This was,
Holy Kool-Aid did a good video on the people who were claiming it was actually Antifa that attacked the Capitol.
That is a ridiculous claim.
Yeah, well,
Those people are
Holy
idiots.
Kool-Aid did a good piece that he refutes all the various claims on it.
Yeah. I also say if anyone hasn't seen it, I should watch One Ring's video of breaking down the Capitol attack. I thought was very good.
That's in my watch list. I haven't got to see it yet.
I watched it, but a lot of that stuff, it's just after a while, it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
it's
that's why I
hard to-
haven't watched some of them yet, because I've gotten overloaded on it.
Absolutely. It's kind of got to it's surreal almost.
Dave
Yeah.
Chappelle was diagnosed with COVID.
Yeah,
Dave
but
Chappelle.
you know, it's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
He does crack. Well, he does a character that does crack.
He
Dave
does
Chappelle-
crack probably like this.
He has enough money to get the best health care in America, so he'll be fine.
Well,
It's-
unfortunately, even with the best care, it can leave permanent damage.
True.
Yeah, that's what they said about Steve Jobs, as he died from prostate cancer. Or
My hair is so frizzy. It's really frustrating.
Are we doing
Yeah.
ASMR now? We brushing your hair?
That's not
All
the
right.
idea. I'm just really frustrated. It is so frizzy.
All right,
What's
everyone
the
be quiet.
temperature?
I just thought you were.
Let it happen. Just let it happen.
What's the temperature over there?
I just thought you were brushing your hair to bait your boyfriend there.
It doesn't take. How you doing?
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. How you doing?
Mm.
Hey,
I love
hey, what's
you.
going on?
I love
What's
you.
both of you are
what's going
so
on
bad
here?
at saying that.
All right, we'll stop.
You don't even sound like a shit.
You know, Stool started all of this, and I'm from the West Coast, and he asked me to say an East Coast saying, so it's even more ironic.
Yep.
What? You don't know any East Coast sayings?
It's all in the inflection. It's all how you say it.
Yeah, it's a different dialect.
Absolutely.
So
Different
you mean
language.
so what coast is it if I say, "How you doing, baby"?
That's
The East
whichever
Coast
coast it is, I'll be there.
pronunciation of that is the accent should be
Pick
the
one.
last word of the sentence,
Pick
not
one.
the first word.
Sounds like the Gold Coast to me. Oh, what are we doing here?
So looks like I'm going to have to join in then, doesn't it? You know, with the hair thing. You know.
The hairbrush.
Absolutely.
Oh, we were brushing our hair? Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Tyler Summer, I see you just popped up brushing your hair.
Yeah.
Well, I'm brushing the cat, but if I turn the camera on, it's almost certain to crash the system.
You're petting your pussy?
You're brushing your pussy. Shall I brush my pussy?
Oh, let me brush my hair. Hold on.
Do I have to?
No, I was just asking Purple if I should
Just
brush
rub
my
your
pussy.
eyebrows.
That's my hair. It's like a full head of hair. Groucho Marx would be proud of these eyebrows.
So you're
Stick
gonna
a
have
finger
to
in your
start doing
nose.
your So you're gonna have to start doing your beard now.
This is more Harpo
I
than
thought those were
Groucho.
taxidermied caterpillars.
I am
anyone else-
Harpo.
I still think Phil looks like Crazy Harry from the Muppets.
I should be asleep right now. I am pulling full Harpo Marx right now.
You've
I'm
got
gonna
another
work.
stream tomorrow morning,
I do?
tomorrow evening. Aren't you hopping on Steve McRae's as well?
Well, if I'm invited, I'll go.
You
know.
are. He asked me for your Twitter details.
Okay, what time is that going to be?
Ooh,
Same time as
Stevie
this,
loves
same time as this
you.
as our one was
Okay.
on Steve's.
Stevie loves Will.
It's all Steve's fault anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve's fault.
No, I'm not going to be able to make that one. I think I'm supposed to be in with the Shills tomorrow night. So I think that's going to overlap.
The point was, Steve had a whole heap of points he wanted to go through, and I think he got one of them because we took the chat entirely differently. And he still wants to do them, and that was his point.
We were having a conversation, you know. We're just having.
We
a
were,
conversation.
and it was good. It was a good conversation, I
It
think.
was.
Yep.
It was a. I thought Sam added a lot to it as well.
Oh, Sam was brilliant. I'm so glad Sam was there.
Yeah.
Oh, we're making Spooky feel uncomfortable.
I
Yeah,
hear
I
you
was gonna say Spooky.
brush your beard.
Spoopy.
I hope that was
Spooky.
clean.
Spoopy should be comfortable anywhere.
Spooky feels attacked.
Yeah, I'm sure I didn't see your comment about the hairbrush.
Yeah, what was your
Although
comment
I
about the
don't
hairbrush, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't see why it would have been blocked.
She's not been brushing
I
her
don't see it
merkin again,
either.
has she?
I don't see anything.
Sometimes comments YouTube automatically strips out for various reasons. It depends what you put in them.
I added merkin
Yep.
to the block word list. It might be right.
I'll tell you, people can't say they're American.
Hey, I'm from Merca.
You-
America?
Are you
Merkin?
American?
Merca.
You're
Merkin.
not. You're
Yeah,
too
if
far
you're from
west.
America, does that make you American?
That is true. I do say I'm from the United States of America, not
Well,
America.
Yeah, Murica is Texas and east.
Exactly. It's so true.
I would say most of the heavy duty Trump activists would be Americans.
You know, Merca is anywhere where there's a Waffle House every mile and a half.
What
So
do you
that-
call it when there's a Starbucks?
I'd rather-
What do you
I'd
call
rather
it when
have
there's a
Waffle House.
Starbucks every mile
Well,
and a half?
see, that's unfair because I couldn't imagine a city in America that doesn't have like a Buffalo Wild Wings, a Starbucks,
Oh,
McDonald's,
Not Buffalo Wild Wings,
McDonald's.
sorry.
You know, the standard. It's the standard. It's in every state. So we can't even talk trash about that because we quite literally go to the
We
same
don't
store.
have any Starbucks
We
here.
pretty much.
Okay, do you have Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah, I guess I think
So Andrew thought I was brushing my hair with the dildo. I could probably do that. I think I've got one within range.
We've got Dunkin' Donuts in the UK, but they're not as big as they used to be. I think like Krispy Kreme's a lot bigger now in terms of outlets.
yeah, but Krispy Kremes are half air.
Yeah.
Just for Andrew.
I could eat 10 of those things.
Krispy Kremes are awful. Ugh.
I wish I had done that. That was a bit sticky.
with the coffee with the coffee chains, Costa is way bigger than Starbucks here.
Never heard of that.
I think they're based out of similar. I think they're based out of like Seattle, so a similar area from Starbucks. But the Costa
what's
is
it
way
called?
bigger in the UK. Costa.
I was in
Huh.
Boston once, and there was a Starbucks literally around the corner technically in the same building, but it was a completely separate independent Starbucks in the same building, 100 feet from the door of another one.
Portland, Oregon was like
That's
that.
ridiculous.
Portland, Oregon was just like that.
I have a question. Can you buy buns in Boston?
Buns.
Yeah, what kind of buns are you looking for? This guy Jesus I know has got some
there's a bun called the Boston bun.
There used to be one street corner in southern Minneapolis that there were Starbucks on 3 of the 4 corners of the intersection.
Oh, it's insane.
Because due to the way the dividing lines fell, technically they were in 3 separate cities.
Oh, that's awesome. Here, they're buying up any like fast food place that goes out of business that has a drive-through. Starbucks will buy it right then and there.
Mm.
They've kind of taken over, at least on the West
They're even
Coast.
buying up crack houses because they know that there's a lot of people that are going to keep showing up.
Starbucks is a crack house.
That's about right.
It's a crack house with nice cars and yuppies.
And Wi-Fi.
Yeah, they lace it with some kind of chemical that makes you forget you just paid $4 for a cup of coffee.
I was about to say anywhere that
That's a Boston bun.
Oh, okay.
And it was a bad joke because I thought it was actually a thing that was developed in Boston, but apparently it's an Australian thing when we call it a Boston bun. So it must be like the weird stuff that you guys have in Outback restaurants, which aren't Australian at all, but they give them a name just so it sells it.
In Milwaukee, that would be called the pierogi.
Hold on. So I'm not going to be able to eat a bloomin' onion in Australia?
No, absolutely not. I guarantee no
so
Outback Steakhouse. I've actually been to Japan to assist in opening of an Outback Steakhouse, and there are none in Australia. There are some in Japan. There's a ton everywhere else, but there are none in Australia. It's Australian.
I have this feeling. That Australia keeps all of their decent products themselves and just offloads their crap to the rest of the world. Like, hence,
do you know what's weird? We still have Lone Stars, though.
Yeah. Hence, you can't get Vegemite out. You can't get Vegemite outside of Australia, but you can get bloody Fosters anywhere.
But we don't, except in Australia, because we don't drink Fosters. It's disgusting.
Fosters in Australia.
Do you know what's really funny? When I was younger, I loved Fosters, especially the giant can.
Weird.
Okay, you're complaining that they won't ship Vegemite out? Like, you actually want the stuff?
I love Vegemite.
Vegemite is vegetarian spam.
Exactly. You can get Vegemite here in California. You can get it here.
We get Marmite, which is obviously I think a bit of a weaker version of Vegemite.
No,
So.
Marmite's worse.
Marmite's lovely.
It's bad.
Marmite's got about 4 times the salt.
I hate it when he gets. I don't like it when Jeff gets all perverted in the morning. Don't.
No, I haven't had my Marmite.
Jeff.
I haven't had my Marmite on toast yet.
You dirty pervert.
Boston butt roast comes from.
I have to when you come over here, babe. I'll have to take you to the God damn it! I'll forget it. I can't remember what the place is called now. The restaurant. The Lone Star.
Lone Star. Awesome.
Because you guys don't have Lone Stars anymore in the US.
I've never seen one.
Heard of them.
Yeah, there's a Lone Star. Yeah, there's a Lone Star. There's Outback. There's Lone Star. Yeah.
There are still Lone Stars because I know the company went broke in the US.
Apparently, they don't have them in the Midwest because I've never heard of them.
Yep, they did. They went bust.
Me neither.
So if there's any left, they're probably not attached to the original company.
Right,
So-
the proprietors are just trying to keep it alive, likely.
Keep it going, yeah. Whereas Lone Star Australia does actually still exist. So you can still go to a Lone Star in Australia. We still have Lone Stars.
I want Arthur Treacher's fish and chips.
You
You
guys
want
are
some
making
fish
me
and chips?
hungry.
Go get fish and chips in the UK. It's better.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
mushy peas.
the one
Mushy
thing
peas are yummy.
That's
I remember
the one
Arthur
thing, that's the one
Treacher's,
thing
they
we
were
do
good.
well.
Yeah, fish and
One
chips.
thing we do well is fish and chips.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that the lockdown started like 2 weeks after we moved. So I never got a chance to find out if there was any place around here that sells a decent fish and chips.
I make my own. Fish and chips are amazing.
Why is everyone talking about dildos now?
You started it.
You
Well,
have
that's
that.
the problem
No,
right there.
Aunt Jo did actually. She said that she thought that was what I grabbed originally when I went to brush my hair, which is why I grabbed one out and did what I did.
Yep.
I did
Well,
not
that's the
start
Well,
problem right
apparently
there.
Sloth Girl needed to brush her hair too.
with a dildo. They don't work well as hairbrushes.
Oh, all this talk is. I wish Popeyes
Yeah.
was still open.
Yeah, we have Texas Roadhouse around here. I haven't seen an Outback in this area either.
I've heard.
There's-
I've
I've
heard.
been to an Outback in Florida.
I've heard decent things about Popeye's chicken. I've never had it, so
You know, honestly, in America, most of our food is just hype and really good oil. So we fry everything, and it just tastes good.
When
It's
I
comfort
was
food.
living in central New York, and they have one of the last remaining Arthur Treachers. But so it's still been like over 6 years now since I've had that.
That's like Bob's Big Boy. Did they have Bob's Big Boy anywhere else besides the West Coast?
Oh yeah, those were all over the Midwest.
Oh, I miss those things.
That sounds like a porn movie. Bob's Big Boy.
We should make one called Bob's Big Boy.
Actually, the last time
You know how wrong that sounds to me, given that my brother's name is Bob.
Oh, damn it!
like,
Damn.
see, I find,
All right, scratch that.
Actually, the last time Bob's Big
We'll
Boy
call it.
came up was because they had these ceramic statues, like a life-size ceramic statue, in front of the stores, and somebody had stolen one of those and was trying to ransom the store manager.
I thought you were going to say something else for a
$6,000 to
second.
return it.
That's a good way to go to jail. That's a good way. An express way to jail.
Yeah. So the manager said he would pay it, and when the guy showed up with the statue, the cops were there.
I wonder if anyone's ever had sex on one of those big donut signs that you get outside some of the donut stores. You know, the
We have
just an abstract thought.
we have one in LA,
Who
and it's a
wonders that?
landmark.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen it in several films.
yeah.
We have one.
And in
and
Grand
it's,
Theft Auto.
I knew you were gonna. Do you know when I take my son into the city, he tells me, he's like, "This is just like Grand Theft Auto." I said, "No, Grand Theft Auto is just like the city." He knows LA based on the map of Grand Theft Auto.
That's
It
right.
just makes me feel old. So if anyone does play GTA and you're bored, it's loosely based on LA. Loosely.
Oh,
which
it's actually pretty tightly based on
know
LA.
It is. I know. I know.
which Grand Theft Auto map we on about here?
5 loosely here.
San Andreas one, is
5.
it? Or yeah,
No, 5. V.
Right,
The V. The one with the V.
yeah.
You noob.
Trying to remember if I
Come on,
played
you
that one
noob.
or not. Actually, I think I might actually have that game, but I haven't played it. I haven't played Grand Theft Auto in a while, so
Yeah, a bit of movie trivia I wasn't aware of.
Actually, I might be wrong. Is that not 5? Hang on. It's 4, isn't it? Does 4 exist?
Who knows?
yeah, 4 exists.
Oh, that part always makes me cry in the Doctor Who special. When he says,
Which
"Who
one?
knows?"
Oh,
When he says, "Who knows?" Yeah.
Yeah, Renee, that's what I was saying. As far as I know, there's still one Arthur Treachers in New York in the suburbs of Syracuse.
I was
You're
I just
getting
wanted
awfully
the
close to
recipe
home
for
here,
for
Burp.
their breading.
What's that?
I just want the recipe for their breading.
No, what was that about? I was getting awfully close.
What?
Oh, me? Oh
Yeah.
no, you're. Oh no, you're just talking about where I live. That's all.
Oh, that's your area now, huh? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
mine. I own it. It's mine.
Well, that's right where I had lived with my fiance, but then I got stuck in that little town in Michigan for 5 years.
Nice.
You know, I look down and Doorknob Head, I have no idea what's going on in the chat. Boy,
Dude,
did I come late to that
Doorknob
conversation.
Head is always on point, dude. I'm not even on YouTube. I can't even see what he's saying right now, and I regret it. Dude is a ball, dude. I love him to death.
Absolutely. Is that the name of your memoir, Stool? Dildos and Merkins?
Shut up.
I think that.
Dude, stop making me sound like a weirdo.
Okay, if you don't want it to be the title, I'll make that the title of my memoirs.
Doorknob once offered to marry me, but then I found out he was under house arrest. So I said no.
Doorknob says this is Stool says this is going to be the name of his new ship.
That was a mistype. It was supposed to say shop, but now you mention it, that could be the name of my new ship. The HMS Dildos and Merkins. I will patrol the patriotic British seas, protecting the patriotic British fish.
A British tar.
Oh,
No, I won't sing that. Nobody wants to hear Gilbert and Sullivan, so I'll stop.
This is why I was a little bit disappointed when they actually named on your aircraft carrier the Queen Elizabeth. I just think it should have been called Boaty McBoatface.
Boaty McBoatface.
To be fair, they named they named the ship, that one ship, the Attenborough, and then they named the probe Boaty McBoatface. So there is a Boaty McBoatface, but it's just a giant probe. So technically, they stuck to their word.
Well, did you hear about the U.S.'s newest carrier, the Ford?
No.
Yeah, apparently they're having a lot of trouble with their new aircraft launching and retrieval system. They cannot launch fighter planes. And at this point, they think even if they could get one off, if it tried to land again, they're not sure that they would be able to stop it before it went off the end of the deck. This is, the U.S. military's, greatest ship at this point.
Oh, so you're serious? So
Yes.
the Gerald Ford is a bust.
We have an aircraft carrier that cannot operate planes.
Oh, so the Gerald Ford is a complete bust then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, of course it is, because it's a Ford.
I knew. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that punchline. No, but he's talking about a real ship. That's the Gerald Ford. That stinks. That stinks. They spent a lot of money building that ship.
Yeah, but they were trying out a new launch system, and it's just not working the way it's supposed to. It's not reliable. It keeps breaking down on them.
What kind of ship do you think it's going to be when they finally have the USS Trump?
The USS Trump.
Oh, God.
He's not even getting a skip boat.
They will never name a craft after Donald Trump.
If he gets
when he gets fully thinged with after impeachment.
Exactly. If he gets a library, I'll be shocked.
They can name a depth charge after him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, apparently
there will be a Donald Trump library because that's a privately funded thing, and he would want one just for his ego.
With a bunch of old playboys in there.
Apparently, he's got a couple of books sorted out. Well, 1.5 books. He hasn't finished colouring in the second one yet. So.
Yeah, well, I think they might christen a ship the Donald Trump after it's already been designated to be a target ship for testing practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've actually seen some really cool exercises with the Canadian Navy and the United States Navy when they blow up old ships. That's actually fun to watch. If you ever get really bored on YouTube, there's some really cool footage of that.
I think you got more. To be honest, I think Russia's got more chance of naming one of their ships after than.
If he's not living there in a month, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked if he's not living there.
No,
What, in Florida?
No, Russia.
He won't go to Russia because Putin will have the last laugh and won't let him in.
They don't fucking want him.
No.
Well, they're
Yeah,
not
they got
interested-
everything out of him.
Yeah, if they don't think they're going to get their money back, they're not interested in having him. Yeah, and at this point, the only reason they might let him in is if they thought he had some kind of secrets that they don't know yet. But
True.
he's got such a big mouth, it's very unlikely that there's anything that he knows that they don't already know.
That is one thing I'm disappointed about Donald Trump is that if we had like Roswell aliens and little green men locked in bunkers, he would have said something.
Well,
Here's
down in
something
side
to tell 'em.
charts, I think Aunt Jer needs you to do your psychiatrist bit.
Oh, okay.
Psychiatry.
Do some psychiatry. I think she's trying to examine herself. Whoa.
Psychiatry?
Psychiatrums.
Again, injured.
It sounds painful.
Yeah, for some reason the chat is like auto-blocking Aunt Jen. Because, I'm not seeing the messages at all that she's talking
Here,
about.
I'll write something and see what happens.
I think YouTube is not liking a certain word that she's using. But I was referring to the comment she made. She said, I'm trying to see where I went wrong. And I thought she was getting deep and philosophical or something.
YouTube's doing a lot of stuff right now that
I don't know.
is just unacceptable.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm
and
too tired.
it shouldn't be blocking any words. I mean, I start every stream with the disclaimer that there's going to be adult language. So the fact that I've got that, checked all the boxes when I set up the stream, there's no reason it should be blocking anything.
Yeah, it happens though sometimes. I don't know why.
Well, because YouTube is stupid. That's why it's,
Just
they're not consistent about their own rules.
In any way, shape, or form, or who they enforce it with. I'm not going to name any names, but I know a young man who sings songs on his stream and got taken down.
Yeah.
And then somebody else was singing on their streams and nothing happened.
But if you have 500,000 subscribers, you can do anything you want and they won't care.
True.
To be fair, I did just say pussy in chat and I didn't get in trouble. So it looks, Aunt Jerry, it looks like YouTube doesn't like your pussy.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I typed pussy grabber and cunt and it didn't stop those.
That's worrying if you're like your comments are getting removed and stills aren't, because we know Still can't keep a stream.
Are you talking about my urination problem again?
You really can't see that back there. It's too dark.
What, my urine? Come on, keep these things quiet.
I think the only stream of yours that wasn't taken down was the one that was named after my curtains.
Okay, apparently what it was blocking was, Aunt Jen said she split the sentence in half, that I for real thought Jen had grabbed a dildo, not a brush. So I guess the phrase grabbed a dildo set something off.
Now, on my StreamYard
There's
screen,
something in the corner there, Jed.
Hey, keep still, Jen. Aussie Jen,
Yeah,
don't move. Don't move.
He's going to take a picture of you.
Purples, you with your record on power tools, have you ever had any powered?
I'm so exhausted. You see my face?
Accidents?
I'm so tired.
No, I never had any accidents with it, and I actually did have someone ask me.
You got what you wanted, so?
Machine.
That's you know the memes are coming on that one.
Yeah.
He's gonna break his wrist.
Somebody asked me to build them a fucking machine. that I did build out of a reciprocal saw, and the biggest problem was gearing it down so it wasn't running at 2,000 strokes a minute.
I always wondered about that without killing somebody. I always wondered how they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't really saw with 2,000 strokes a minute.
Stu, that meme you made was genius.
That was brilliant.
That was hilarious. I enjoyed that.
I loved that. I was in here dying of laughter when I saw that.
I had to do a double. I had to do a double take the first one.
Like it, didn't it?
Look, yeah.
Hey, Perp, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Is it about time I told my ridiculously irrelevant tequila story?
That was what you originally came in for.
I'm gonna I'm getting tired, so if I disappear.
Wait 30 seconds. It's a short story.
There it is.
Okay, a bunch of us in high school, we were breaking the law and being badasses, and we went under a bridge.
Sorry, I was just saying, why does it look like SJ's the only one not enjoying herself?
That's her demeanor.
Yeah. I mean, I look like I'm thinking about something, but I don't look unhappy.
I look like I'm about to tell a story about band camp, and I'm really excited.
Yeah.
You told lots of stories.
Okay, let Gizmo tell his story.
Yeah. We went under a bridge because we thought we would be safe there, and it's a bridge by a canal, and it's got a lot of water in it, and it's got a lot of privacy. And we lit a little fire, and we started drinking tequila and screaming, and playing games and spray painting the walls because we thought we were graffiti artists. And by the end of the bottle, we were on top of the bridge screaming at passing traffic, screaming, "Limes!" We were screaming for limes. We were actually hoping somebody would pull over from going 65 miles an hour, pull over and give us limes. We were begging for limes on top of a highway.
Sorry, for slammers.
We looked like homeless morons under the bridge, just climbing up out of nowhere, shambling up like a bunch of friggin' scumbags, just like screaming at traffic, "Limes!" So don't do tequila, kids. Don't do tequila.
Tequila's amazing, though. It makes you think you can dance. It makes you think you're charming.
It makes you think you can climb over an overpass and scream at traffic.
And fight. Tequila makes you think you can fight.
I can't drink tequila anymore.
Who did you fight, Jeff? Who did you fight?
That is the one. That is the one thing I've gotten like so drunk on that I cannot. The thought of it now is just I just did it one night and I was just doing tequila slammers all night. Didn't end up too good. Well, I used to love it.
Things in the bar.
So drunk on it one night. I just can't. The smell of it now is, or what if it is just enough to make me sick.
Like I said 2 hours ago, I got sick off of it at 14, and I probably had it one time since then. Tequila is nothing to mess around with and disrespect.
Yeah, I haven't had it since then. I haven't had it since 1994. I haven't had it.
Yeah, tequila. Ugh. Oh, that was probably around the same time that I got sick off of it.
I mean, I've tasted it a few times and a couple of mixed drinks here and there, but nope. Never just bought some tequila.
Young in 94.
What's that?
Well, you would have been pretty young in 94. You'd been young teen.
I started drinking around 11, 12.
Okay, fair enough.
I started smoking cigarettes every day at 12.
I started getting stoned every weekend at 14. Does that count?
Well, I started smoking at 12, but it didn't become an everyday habit till I was like 14, 15.
Actually, the closest I'd become to being an alcoholic was when I was 14. And a little group of us would get totally plastered every weekend. And it was like, one Sunday morning, I was waking up and thinking, why am I doing this? And I couldn't find a good reason, so I quit.
That's how it started with me and my friends. Every Friday night, we'd go out and get hammered.
Do something else, kids.
Well,
I'm just saying, if any kids hear this, do something else. Don't do tequila. It'll destroy. You'll end up running around in 65-mile-an-hour traffic, which is probably going 70 or 80. Don't do it.
Alcohol will do that to you. The fact that it has tequila is nothing to do with it. Alcohol is alcohol is alcohol. It all rots your brain.
Yep.
Oh no, but I could get just as drunk on beer and not do that. Tequila is immediate. It's like a kick to the head.
Alcohol is responsible for a lot of bad decisions and stupid behavior.
Absolutely. I will not argue with that at all.
Alcohol destroys your judgment. All alcohol destroys your judgment.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I've told the story a million times. I used to drink White Lightning, and that's the reason I don't drink any alcohol at all anymore. That stuff will scare you straight.
That stuff is.
Just think, you might be.
Vile.
Oh yeah. It got so bad that career alcoholics were telling me, hey man, you have a problem. You have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, you might wake up in the middle of the freeway someday like, holy crap, how did I get here?
Rock bottom for me was I woke up on my front lawn with 2 sheriffs standing over me.
Yeah. Were you screaming lime?
No, they were just making, in LA, they were just making sure I was alive. They was like, "Oh, he's alive," and they walked away. They didn't. I was a pile of. If I was dead, I was a pile of paperwork. Oh, I live in LA County. They are equal opportunity. They could care less about everybody. There's true equality.
You alive, bro? Are you alive? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, see ya.
They literally walked away, but it was on, private property is a big thing around here. So I was on my own property. They were just making sure I was alive.
Well, good for them,
I'm
actually.
sure from this day forth, people will start screaming lime randomly in live streams, and only the people in here will get what that was.
Just stand in the middle of a freeway screaming lime, fist pumping into the air.
Yeah, just before Yule, I had to replace last girl's bottle of Jose. Had used up the last of it.
Oh, during I had all I saw was when I was in Tijuana, and as a Californian, every time a story starts with "when I was in Tijuana," you should just stop it right there.
Well,
it eventually ends up with
Tijuana.
Tijuana is that real life place, like in that scene in Pinocchio where kids are smoking cigars and doing all the fear. That is Tijuana for 16 and up. Tijuana is not for the faint of heart.
It eventually ends up with donkeys and Cabo Wabo and
all of that's real. All of that's real.
Yeah.
Everything you just said right now is real. And
so
it's real. That's real.
Okay, but are they consenting donkeys?
So true story. In Bleeding Heart American, I saw this guy on the street beating his donkey, and I told him, I was like, "Hey man, don't hit that donkey." And he told me in Spanish, he was like, "Give me $10 or shut the F up." And I kept walking. Tijuana is no joke. It is no joke. I couldn't bring a TJ donkey through customs, so the man was beating his donkey.
Beating or beating off his donkey?
Doorknob wants to know what you mean by donkey.
Well, it depends on what side of town you're on, and and how much Spanish you speak. Oh, I miss Tijuana. I wouldn't go there now if you paid me, but I had a lot of fun as a kid.
I've I've been, but I can't remember a damn thing about it.
Did you go to Revolution Boulevard?
How much did you drink there, Still?
You must have really enjoyed it then, Still.
So did you get in a taxi and go to Revolution Boulevard, which is like the one place to go?
Okay, Stool, if you don't remember ever being there, did you check for scars over all of your vital organs?
Or those funny pockmarks that won't go away?
I literally don't remember anything. I think it was nice and pleasant. I don't think anything bad happened.
Yeah.
Tijuana just has tons of booze. They have great food, lots of strippers, lots of massage parlors. You can get all kinds of medication there in their pharmacies.
Without a script, probably.
I think it's pretty clear. He said he doesn't remember anything, so let's just,
Yeah, he must have had a good party there.
I'm
just
reminiscing
be gentle.
about when I used to travel before the world shut down.
Well, I've been to both coasts of the U.S., but I've never actually been to another country. I have literally been from New York to Hawaii.
Perp, you been to New York?
Yep.
You plan on coming back?
No.
Aw.
Well, like I said,
Right.
I lived in Syracuse for 5 years with my fiance there. I was in New York City for 5 days, actually, even before I met her.
Wow.
A couple of days in New York City, that would be possible, but just because there was still stuff there I never got to see.
The East Coast just wasn't my thing.
Yep.
Not a bad place, just
Yeah,
I'm biased.
when my brother was in the Navy, when my brother was in the Navy, they had what they called a Tiger Cruise. That was when I was 14, so that they were allowed to invite a male member of their family to be on the ship. So I flew out to Hawaii and got on the ship at Pearl Harbor, and basically an 8-day cruise from Pearl Harbor back to San Diego.
Cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, basically it was a recruiting tool for the Navy. It was kind of interesting, but I certainly was never going to sign up.
But you got a tour.
Yeah,
got a ship.
I got to run around the whole ship. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, there were only a couple of rooms that we weren't allowed to go into.
There's not very many people that can say that, though, so that's an awesome experience.
Yeah.
Downside, of course, they don't have a pool like a proper cruise ship. So yeah.
Well, and we did have one day that a pod of dolphins were pacing the ship.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
cool.
I always remember when I went to sailing holiday in Greece when I was 16, and there was dolphins just come up swimming up right alongside our boat. Awesome.
Sorry, I got
Are you going to hop
distracted.
in, Diana?
Oh, hi, Diana.
I keep on saying I'm tired, I'm going to bed. I've been saying that for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I might hop off too because I've only got a couple of hours before if I do 6 pack and I'm sore, so I need to go and have a lay down.
Actually,
So-
I ran across a little video on YouTube. It's only like a minute and a half, but I thought this was I thought really this should get the Internet Award for the week.
Internet
It's
award.
basically how Canadians are viewing the U.S. now. So let me share that up for a minute.
Yeah,
I'll stay for that one. I can only imagine about what Canadians are thinking about America right now.
Is this Lone Wanderer video?
This should be it. There we go.
You know how when your neighbor gets a new car, and it's a pretty nice car, nothing too fancy, looks super comfortable though, and it's got a few features that they've never had before, and it is
Is that MC tuned?
in their old car, and they will not shut
I
up
don't know
about
who it is.
This car is going to change everything. we live in Canada. That's America right now, and for the next little while. And you know what? That's absolutely fine. Your last car was a death trap. It leaked. It backfired. The brakes didn't work. And for some reason, the doors would stick if you were Muslim. Here in Canada, we'll probably only get to ride in a new car occasionally. We'll never get to drive it, or even help decide where to drive it. But it sure does make the neighborhood look great again. And we're way less concerned about being run over by the new car, compared to their old car. But of course, we still need to be careful. And I mean, we need to make sure our own car is looking good and well maintained. But for now, let's let America celebrate this. They're really good at celebrating the stuff they do. It is simultaneously their most annoying and most likable trait. And we are, without question, super happy for them. Seriously. New wheels, eh, neighbor? Looking good.
Okay, that was all. Somebody posted that on Twitter, and I wanted to share that one.
I like that one. All right, I'm going to head out and get a rest before I have to do another stream.
Well, do you have anything you want to plug or shill before you go?
Go if you haven't seen it. Go watch. I think I've got the link here. Yeah, go and watch Will and my stream from earlier. I think I've got the right thing there. Yeah, I just posted it. Yeah. The where we had Steve McRae and S.J. Thompson as guests, and it was actually decent.
Yeah, everybody was quite polite, and it went quite calmly.
And there'll be a Stump Gen later. No, tomorrow. When is it? Yeah, tomorrow for you guys. Evening for me, morning for you guys.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Stupid o'clock in the morning for Purple, but there'll be another Stump Gen then. And aside from that, I can't think of anything.
Totally confirmed, Spooky.
Yeah.
KISSING.
Hours.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great, Jen. Will, did you have anything else to add?
Next week we're gonna have we're either gonna finish the conversation we started this week, or I can't even remember because I'm so exhausted what our other topic's gonna be. So we'll be talking about something interesting, pissing off somebody, getting canceled, normal stuff. Still be making memes.
I think this is actually a good time to kind of go around and do a wrap up, because actually I'm supposed to be on Dave's Critical Questions in about 7 hours.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I should get some sleep before then.
That'll be on the show before my show.
Yeah.
Jen,
oh no, not that one. One after.
I think you and Will should get Greg Locke on as a guest.
I'd tear him a new one.
He was invited. He was
invited. I keep posting pictures of him as a big dildo.
Rig and I invited him to show up yesterday. He wouldn't.
Did he even reply?
I doubt it. I mean, I
am contemplating having SJ on my channel again, just me and her, and talking about abortion.
Ooh.
No, because whilst SJ takes a very religious attitude towards it, she does accept that there are mitigating circumstances where she would accept abortion. So I would like to get the nitty-gritty of what she actually thinks. Yeah,
she tells lies about it.
Maybe you could attract Greg to get on by having SJ on at the same time.
She doesn't like Greg.
Yeah, exactly. She talks shit about him.
Actually, that's one thing I got after that is she does not like Greg Locke.
I was actually surprised. She talks shit about him and Young Earth Creationist.
Yeah, but he does not know that.
He might if he goes and watches our stream.
Anyway, let's get some wrap-ups. Jeff, you've been putting out regular content again.
Yeah, I might possibly have something later, like this evening my time, I don't know yet because the guy hasn't even though he sort of agreed a couple of days ago, he hasn't actually confirmed the time. So I don't really want to announce it until I have something confirmed. But
just kind of watch the space.
Yeah. Next, I've got coming up on Tuesday on my channel. I should have the African Humanists coming on.
Awesome.
Oh, cool. Good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw her talk with Godless Granny the other night.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to get her on before that, but after seeing her on Granny's, I was like, I'm definitely going to get her on. So I think it could be an awesome conversation to have. So, other than that, I don't think I'm scheduled to do Dave's show today. But if someone pulls out, I'm normally roped in.
Are you doing Dave's Saturday show?
I think so. I'm not quite. I've got to look at the chart. So,
I'm assuming you're going to hang around for Stump Gen?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Most probably. I've got stream with Noodle on. I'll be on Noodle's channel on Sunday. The Asterix ones.
Awesome.
I tell you what, though, I don't know if she's gotten around to reading the book that we're doing yet, but I've warned her she's not going to like this one, so I think this could be a hashtag hissy fit. And I've got to admit, this is not
Noodle fit.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I got to be honest. There were some funny jokes in there, but there's a lot about this one that left a bad taste in my mouth as well. So, could be an interesting one. And then, obviously, after that, on Ring's channel, Media Musings, I'll probably be on there. As I found out the other day, just because Jen had updated the intro, I'm officially a co-host on there now.
You are.
Yeah,
cool.
I think you've been on as many of them as I have, Jeff. So.
Well, I've just been like a lot of regular on there, and I just found I've been updated to official co-host now. So,
in all honesty, you, me, and Noodle have been consistent co-hosts, so I thought it was fair to update it.
Yeah, I've also been invited to be on the Shills tomorrow evening. I think that's at 5:30 Central Time.
Awesome.
I was actually on the iNetworks pub chat for a little while last night, actually. So,
yeah, Dick Dawson and Amy Hogan have kind of taken a liking to me, so I'm getting invited in there on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah,
but they never ask me.
Really?
Yep, really.
I'm surprised.
You know, I'm surprised that Amy hasn't asked you since you've done the old uncalled for with her a couple of times.
Yeah, you were the first guest on the Uncalled For, weren't you, Jenny? When they first did that show.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Haven't you been on their other show at all, Jen?
I'm sorry, say that again. I missed.
The other show, the Gordon Bennett, the Shills.
I've never been on the Shills.
Oh wow, I have, but there's no record of it anymore.
Dick doesn't like me for some reason. He won't.
Probably not that. No, it wouldn't be Dick because Dick doesn't usually organise the guests. So, I'd have a talk with.
I think it's normally Amy, isn't it?
It's normally Amy. Have a talk to Amy.
I don't care. I just find it very interesting.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you haven't been asked.
Yeah, I've been asked a couple of times, but I've only ever made it once.
I've been on the Shills a couple of times and the Uncalled For once, but they've pulled me in for pub chat a couple of times as well. So, but that was quite good. Yes, that was quite good. Yes, I got speak to that guy. Seek Truth, Speak Truth. The guy who was a flat earther and then kind of come to realise that's all bollocks. So, he's a really nice guy. It's gone quiet.
No, I was just checking here. Okay, so anyone else? Stool, you got anything happening?
No.
Hey, Stool, can I ask you something, buddy?
You certainly can, my friend.
All right.
Could you do it in the style of a Mexican dancer, please?
Hang on, let me get my what are they called? Castanetas? Castellanetas?
Yeah, castanets.
Castellaneta.
I respond better if you put some effort into it, you see.
I don't have any clamshells I can bang together. Or whatever they use. I don't know.
That's what you need, some
pretty
spoons.
interesting.
Oh, there's like 10
Spoons.
bad jokes in there. I'm too tired to even explain it.
I was going to make a reference to Empty House of Coconuts, but
Can we do a movie night thing and start off with War of the Clams?
Oh,
War of the Oh man.
oh! I want to watch this.
Clam over the River Kwai.
Okay. Now,
JH, you just did it again.
I'm trying to wrap up
audio.
here. I need to get a little bit of sleep so I can understand Dave's
I
question.
know. That's why I'm trying to stay quiet.
Wait,
So I gotta go to bed.
HJ, I was just wondering, do you have green screen behind you? Why were you phasing in and out of existence on your video?
Stool's a time traveler.
This is quite true.
Okay.
Stool has become
all.
dimensionally unstable. He keeps phasing in and out.
I am actually recording. I recorded this last night.
Okay. I get it. Buddy. No more.
It was a transporter accident. That's why he's like that. We're trying to fix it.
No more explanation needed.
We've discussed this before very briefly. My new camera is crap, and the angle is so wide that it shows off a little bit too much that I'm prepared to show. So I have to crop everything and stick this behind me, which is just XSplit.
Don't ever change it. It's freaking awesome. You kind of phase in and out of existence.
It's very entertaining.
Good night, Perp. Thank you. Good night, HJ and everyone.
Good night,
I'm going to log off.
Yeah, Jenny, do you have some upcoming appearances?
No,
I know you'll be on Dave's. Yeah, you'll be on Critical Questions.
I'm on Dave's thing on questions, and Friday means it's movie night. If movie night is still going.
Yep, movie night is still scheduled, although I'm sure they need people to submit some movies to heckle. So we need
I've got plenty of
video
movies
clips
for
with
them
some
to heckle.
stupid science. Yeah, we need some videos with people not understanding science.
I'll just look at it. Just get me to make some videos. That'll be get that.
I was going to make that joke, but it wouldn't work coming from me.
You need videos of people who don't know anything about science. Where are the Republicans when you need them?
Yeah, this is perhaps the difference between myself and like the flat earthers. Though is I know I don't understand science and don't try to make out that I do.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be one big problem with Trump gone is that, Stephen Colbert and John Oliver are actually going to have to hire writers again.
Absolutely.
Well, I got to say, in
HJ now
1997,
is using his green screen to the best of his ability.
Did anybody see Dr. Fauci on TV for his first time since the election? He was talking about how wonderful it feels to have science in the White House again, and how he can actually talk without worrying about somebody going crazy. For what he's saying, and it's
one of Biden's changes is he has announced that he will make the president's science advisor a cabinet position.
Oh, awesome!
I thought you said catnip.
No. That'd be cool too.
So he's adding a new member to the cabinet specifically to cover the science stuff.
I think you should name me to that post. I'd be good at that, hey? Hey,
thank you, Stool. That was funny.
186,000 miles per second. It's not just a good idea. It's the law.
Stop doing that. Seriously, it doesn't make me look like a nice person when you do that.
Yes, Doorknob Head, I believe cats generally have 8 nips, although I haven't personally counted them.
Doorknob Head knows how to milk cats. Don't worry about that.
I'm sure Doorknob Head can milk toast, but
I was going to say something. I was going to say something on what you think in like the satirists going to have to work now. I was just saying, 1997 when we got rid of the Conservatives after 18 long years. We really thought satire was going to be dead, but funny enough, the Labour Party did provide quite an awful lot for us. So I think you'd be quite surprised with how good it could be.
oh yeah, and we've already got some of the senators stepping up to it.
Yeah.
Who's the idiot who has already started a procedure to impeach Biden?
Oh,
I
that's
saw that.
unbelievable.
I saw that bullshit. I saw that. That's just
Yeah, it's like, doesn't
Absolute-
he have to do something before you can impeach him?
He does.
insanity.
Sour
Okay.
grape.
Well, yeah, we're going to wrap it up here. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, everybody in the side chat. And thank you again to my patrons, the Lavender Lady, Greg Hartwick, and Mikey Famine, who are now combined sending me enough on Patreon to pay for StreamYards. So
Aw.
my channel's basically self-supporting, at least.
Awesome.
HJ is phasing in and out of reality yet again.
Okay. Bye-bye, all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.